I don't want to set the world on fire.
Please welcome Tom Thummy.
I'm
Rogan, I'm here, and your white privilege isn't going to save you tonight, okay, guys?
Desire, and that one is you. No other will do. I've lost all ambition for worldly acclaim.
Any government is to monopolize as much violence as possible in order for it to inflict it on as many citizens as possible.
I've been on this like weird anarchist arc for a few months now. This is playing by their rules, exactly how they are written.
I don't want to set the world on fire. I just want to start a flame.
You're watching the Dog and Chicken Show. Like, share, subscribe.
Well. How are we doing this evening, you beautiful people? Let's make double dog. I don't want you to... Yes, you are getting every sweet, soft, beautiful note that is my voice. Folks, welcome one and all to the K.O.E. Nation planting season. As you can see, the skies, they've been clean. My beard's getting a little scruffy. The dirt is getting drier. And folks, it has been quite the time with all of you beautiful folks. I basically just shared this a couple days ago just to look better for the podcast, but the rest of it's getting all scruff. But folks, I am your King of Extreme, Phil K.O.E., the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man that makes the other podcast cower, the prince and potentate of the political parlance, the lord of the Scottish Highlands, and one damn handsome man if I do say so myself. You can find me at K.O.E. Nation on YouTube, K.O.E. Nation on TikTok, K.O.E. Nation on Twitch, folks. It's all very, very on brand. And, you know, it's just been such a slow news week. Like, there's just been not much to talk about. There's really not, there's, golly gee shucks, like there's, oh yeah, wait, that's right, Roe v. Wade. We might be losing Roe v. Wade soon, and everybody's been weighing in on that. Everybody. Your King of Extreme has been on many panels weighing in on that. And also, Joe Rogan and one Doug Stanhope live on their show, on the Joe Rogan show, because you could tell that is not what Doug Stanhope showed up to that show thinking he was going to talk about. But then we find out there's been a leak and Roe v. Wade might be going away. And so Doug Stanhope and Joe Rogan get into it. And Joe, he's very good at splitting the field if he has to, because he knows taking too hard a stance one way or another is going to alienate too much of his audience one side or another. So to his credit, he's been able to hit that balance beam pretty well. But you could kind of tell there was a couple of points. Now, Doug Stanhope, he was, he's a joke guy. He's a joke smith. He's really good at what he does. But he's had some bits about abortion, too, and even referenced it in it, which was actually pretty funny. He talked about how... in an old bit, that because they even talked about the exceptions for things like rape and incest, and Doug Stanhope said, "Well, I mean, like, what? Like, how are you pro-life if that's your exception? Because then you're just saying you're pro-life unless the dad's an asshole," which is a funny joke. I mean, like, it's well crafted. Even if you don't agree with the punchline, the crafting is well done there. But when you get from joke meme to like reality, there is kind of a fall off there. I do concede that, but that was kind of a fascinating point when they were talking about, like, God, are they going to make exceptions or anything? And then also there was this fascinating little back and forth where Doug was trying to do that, because Doug is very antinatalist. Doug does not believe in having children at all. He's... the very epitome of antinatalism, as far as I'm concerned. He'll come up with jokes like, "So what's your favorite memory as a fetus?" And then Joe fires back pretty quickly. Well, what's your favorite memory as a 3-year-old? I mean, does the mother get to decide then? Like, you know, hey, shit. I mean, kids kind of wearing on me. So, like, yeah, that was the back and forth that they had there. Now, Joe is going to have to touch on this a few more times. I think ultimately Joe is going to reveal himself to be a bit more pro-life than many of his California buddies would prefer. And I think he's going to reveal himself to be a bit more pro-choice than a lot of his Texas buddies would prefer. He's going to continue to try and thread that needle to limited success. I think we will see what happens when it comes to the Rogan of the Jogan, but I think in the end, he's going to try to keep threading that needle. But then once Roe v. Wade's like, well, you know, I mean, the court said, and I think he's going to do that because that's going to be what a lot of normies are going to say. Well, you know, the court said this, so I guess that's what we do now. Because a lot of people, they don't challenge anything. They don't even question it. It's just like, okay, the court said this, so we all got to do that now. So that's just a little bit of the surface level, because you could tell, like, when they got into it, Joe's like, well, abortion's gone apparently, and Doug Sam goes, what, here it's gone here, and then it's like Joe's got to break it to him, like, no, and Doug's like, what? Like, you could just tell, like, damn it, I gotta spend my time talking about this culture war dumpster fire, but that is the way it is. But that's you know, one of many aspects. We'll get into that this evening. Now, before I get into the topic du jour this evening, which I want to show you an amazing episode of Big Buckin' Empire, which you really need to see. It's me, Tony G, KayFellowz, Tyberius D, and somebody online, all getting into it about two things mainly. It's mostly we're getting into it about Johnny Depp, Amber Heard, because that shit's hilarious. And then when all the stars aligned, Tiberius showed up and everybody got in. Then we decided to get into the big one, Roe v. Wade, folks. But before we do that, I am gonna do a little something here, folks. For those who follow cryptocurrencies and NFTs, I have to say something. Cryptocurrencies may very well be the future of money and how you exchange value, and especially when we become an interplanetary species, there's really no other way to exchange value other than it being a cryptocurrency. So that will have to be the future at some point. But in terms of everybody that thought NFTs were going to be a thing, I fucking told you so. They've been in a fucking free fall for like a lot of, like, if you think an NFT is a thing, like here we go. Here, got a piece scrap paper. There we go. There we go. There's my K.O.E. NFT. Do you see it, folks? Do you see it? Like, yeah. To me, NFTs are kind of a IQ test for me. I take it as an IQ. If you sink any part of money that is not something that's just discretionary income, like your disposable income, if you sink actual savings, real capital that could be used in other aspects of your life into an NFT, you're not a smart person. I'm sorry. NFTs are the cryptocurrency equivalency of fool's gold. Okay, like it's, oh, here we go. Look at all this. You're going to get so, and the thing is, it's evangelical. Like, you have to evangelize it and you have to constantly talk about it. And the only thing that gives it any sort of value at all is the fact that you keep talking about it and look at my NFT and look at how valuable it is. So to me, it's kind of an IQ test. If I hear somebody talking about how, all these great big opportunities in NFTs, yeah, the opportunities are there for the people that are selling you the NFTs, or the people that are trying to convince you. Like, and there's even some people on Twitch and other platforms that are like, oh yeah, totally get into these NFTs. It's like, okay. Now, granted, there's a sucker born every minute, and a fool and his money are soon parted. But that's just, I'm sorry, but the NFT is not going to be the future because it's non-fungible. That's the whole fucking point. It's non-fungible and it's digital. And also, I think There was this guy who bought Jack Dorsey's original tweet for like an insane amount of money, an NFT of the original tweet on Twitter. And it was for hundreds of thousands of dollars. And he took it to auction thinking he was going to get thousands, actually millions. He was thinking he was going to get like 10, 50 million or some crazy shit. And it went to auction. He got $219. Or it was something like 200 and some odd dollars. So yeah, if you're and that an NFT of the first ever tweet, that if that's not worth more than 200 and some odd bucks, then the whole market is ready. It's not even a market. It's just a bunch of like it's like Magic the Gathering cards. Okay. It's like fucking Furbies or Beanie Babies. Okay. It's just I got to give the people who made it up credit and the people who are selling it credit. You found a way to convince people they're buying Beanie Babies when all they're doing is paying for the right to say that they own a picture of a Beanie Baby. So well done. Alesto TV. I have an NFT bridge that I can sell you in Wakanda for 1 billion USD. Yes, Wakanda, the noted kingdom. That, unfortunately, in my opinion, Wakandan currency is worth more than an NFT. Yeah, I'll just say that again. Wakandan currency is worth more than an NFT. Okay. I'm trying to think, what are some other fictional nations? Zanzibar land from Metal Gear Solid series. Zanzibar land, Zanzis. I'm going to assume that's the name of their currency is Zanzis. Those are worth way more than NFTs. So yeah, like if you got any other, God, did they have currency in the Avatar movie, in the Avatar world? Whatever they use for exchange, still worth more than an NFT. Let's see. I'm trying to think here. Some other fictional places with currencies. Oh, if you really like Trigun, Vash the Stampede, the 60 billion double dollar man, a double dollar worth way more than an NFT. Sorry. I mean, that just is the way it is, folks. Alesto goes, I don't exactly know what an NFT is, but buying something in a game, would that be an NFT? Alesto, shh, don't give them any ideas. Jesus. No, I think that's just like loot boxes and stuff. But yeah, NFT is just like, okay, here's a silly little thing I drew. You give me money, and now you get to say you own the rights to that picture, even though people can right click copy it. Yeah. Reason I ask is because a company bought a planet in a game for $6 million. Would that be an NFT? I think that would be more along the lines of buying something, buying a very complicated piece of code. I don't think that quite qualifies as an NFT, but we'll have to get the yeah, it's like, shh, don't give these folks ideas. It's like, oh God, now you can buy NFTs in video games. Oh God. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Like, so to me, yeah, there might be one or two people that'll be able to point to the money they made off NFTs, but most people that make their money off NFTs, it's kind of like the joke. It's like, so it's like the people, and I remember people were giving like Destiny a hard time because he was selling NFTs for a while. It's like, okay, I get it. A fool and their money are soon parted, but Destiny, you know exactly what you're doing here. Okay, don't. You've got at least enough brain power to know what's going on here. But it's the old classic fool and their money soon parted. It's kind of the same with an NFT. I don't know how else to put that. It's yeah, I'll leave it at that for now because I had a few more thoughts, but I want to gather them here for a moment. But without further ado, folks, I want to get into the main event of this evening where I was on an incredible, and we're going to be reacting to it. And if you have questions, comments, please let me know. But we're going to be getting into this because this was an episode of Big Buck and Empire. And in my opinion, it's one of the best ones we've ever done, where we get into it deep, where we figure out what's what on Johnny Depp, and Roe v. Wade. And we have many guests, somebody online. We have KayFellowz and Tyberius D. So it was quite the time, folks. But without further ado, let's get right into this, folks.
I don't want to set the world on fire.
I just
Please
want to
welcome
start
Tom
a
Sumner.
flame in your
know I'm
heart.
here, and
In
the
my
way we're
heart, I have but
continue tonight, okay, guys?
one desire, and
And
that
that
I'm
one
a
is
centrist.
you.
I'm a radical centrist.
no other
And I
will
promote
do.
radical anti-centrism.
I've
And there's
lost
somebody
There's serious
talking to his
problems on
chat.
the right and the left, and I don't condone
Any
it.
government is
I just
to
want to
monopolize
be the
as
one
much
you
violence as possible in order for it to
love.
inflict it on
And
as
with
many
your
citizens as
admission,
possible.
That
I've
you
been on
feel
this like
the
weird
same.
anarchist arc for like
I
a few
have
months now.
reached the
This is playing by their rules.
Now
Exactly.
believe me. I don't want to set the world on fire. I just want to start a
You're
flame
watching the Dog and Chicken Show.
in your
Like, share, subscribe.
heart.
That's right. It's time for the Dog and Chicken Show.
Welcome back. Oh, Phil, you son of a bitch.
I am
Welcome
a no
back.
good rapscallion.
Tried to
Folks.
steal my thunder? Come on. It's just because chicken's gone don't mean you're going to slide past me tonight, Phil. You will get your
I
chance.
kind of
It is
did.
137, folks. Episode 137 of the Dog and Chicken Show. Happy Cinco de Mayo indeed. And it is going to be quite the evening here tonight. And as you can see, we are poultry free tonight. Maybe he'll try to make his presence known in the comments or sneak on for a little quick cameo, maybe if he's not in the car, but we shall see. I am Tony fucking G, Tony the Rod 2.0 on TikTok, and you can find me all over those social platforms and shows, all over the Linktree/Big Buckin' Link. You know the deal. All right, Phil, got it in. Go ahead.
Folks, welcome one and all to Big Buckin' Empire, episode 137, Roe v. Depp, folks. We are here to discuss the main issues of the day here at Big Buckin' Empire on YouTube and Facebook, and it is I, the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man that makes the other podcast cower, the prince and potentate of the political parlance, the lord of the Scottish Highlands, the conqueror of the ethereal, and one damn handsome man, if I do say so myself, your king of extreme, Phil K.O.E. You can find me at K.O.E Nation on YouTube, K.O.E Nation on TikTok, K.O.E Nation on Twitch. And folks, it's been a very slow news week. There's just nothing to talk about. I'm, of course, kidding, of course, folks, but we are joined by a very special guest coming to us all the way over from Twitch, folks. We've got the one, the only, somebody online. Good sir, welcome to the show. Introduce the people to the wonder that is you.
Well, Phil, thank you so much for welcoming on today. I've encountered you a couple of times over on the Twitch space here and there doing a couple of different things. Absolutely fantastic individual. You were on my panel yesterday. We were talking about various controlled substances and various things like that. Thank you so much for visiting me on my channel. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to come and meet all of your friends here on your channel. Again, I'm somebody online. I am a Twitch streamer over on Twitch. I do a lot of different things on there. I host a number of political panels where I approach things from a rather peculiar perspective in comparison with other people that are on there having similar such conversations. I like to do interviews with interesting people that have passions that are interesting to them. And I like to find out why they're so interested in their passions. I like talking to these people about the reason that they get up out of bed today and what they get out of bed to go and do. I find that people that run their own businesses, create their own arts, or just have something that they're trying to share with the world are so much more interesting than people that are just going through their daily routines. And those are the kind of people that I'm interested in talking to, and those are the type of people that I like to talk to on my channel. Phil, of course, you are an extremely interesting individual. I've had you on my channel on a panel format before. I look forward to having you on my channel so that we can have a more direct, one-on-one personal conversation, cut through some of the muck, so to speak, and speak to each other mano-a-mano and get to know one another a little bit better. But again, thank you so much for letting me come on here today. I look forward to getting to meet both of you a little bit more this afternoon. Again, those of you out there, if you like anything that I have to say, if you're a fan of radical anti-centrism or just radical centrism in general, come on over. Somebody online over on Twitch, or some dummy online. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I say a couple of dumber things on there. So some dummy online seems to work better there.
Well, we are certainly glad to have you this evening, sir. And the next thing we're going to get into before we get into our stories is, well, what are you drinking tonight?
Drinking.
It is
My goodness.
the 5th of May. It's Cinco de Mayo.
I'm not a tequila guy. I do like my rum, and I prefer my rum dark personally. So I'll be drinking Kraken tonight. I've already pre-mixed it. Now, you see, I live where I live, so we got Walmart brand. We drink Sam's Cola in my house, and so we've already done our mix-up over here, but I'll tap it off as I go. Thank you guys so much again for letting me enjoy with your games with you tonight.
Oh, no problem.
Glad to have you, sir.
One of the drinking words tonight is Wade. So you can say Roe v. Wade, but you're going to have to drink. But if you say Roe, you'll be fine. So me, I just opened this Prospero. I'm sure I said that just perfectly. I mean, like, I'm sure it's just A+. Throw in a little bit of the triple sec Contro because, I mean, I'm making what I'm calling a mango Rita because all I have is this mango Arizona here. So that's what I'm going to be drinking this evening. And also for you beautiful people who want to try and make me drink gin, you know what it's going to take. 500 stars to get me to take my first shot of gin, but I ain't got to worry about that. None of you got the moxie. None of you got the temerity. None of you got the guts. None of you got the balls to make me take that shot of gin. So I do not worry because no gin shall touch these lips this evening. It will only be beautiful mango Rita this evening. And with that, T, what are you drinking this evening? They're actually not too fucking bad.
Well, good. I like
I'll be making these more in the
cocktails
future.
on the fly. All right. Bringing endorsement from one K.O.E. Now, I am starting off with a supermarket margarita that I bought a couple hours ago and just had enough time to let it get almost frozen in the freezer. It's actually not bad. This is a peach version. Pretty good. I had a regular classic margarita as well. That'll probably be... it'll be thawed out by the time I get to it, but I do have some various bourbons. I've got a couple of beers down here if we get to the starboard at all, and I do also have a bottle of gin. Now, those of you not familiar with the starboard, again, I'm going to preface this with we will be doing stars tonight, but once we get into the meat of the schedule tonight, the big topic,
the main event,
the main reason you're here, the Roe v. Wade stuff, we're probably going to just not even worry about stars until after the fact. So if you want to get them in now. If you want to make Phil drink some gin, I would recommend doing it early and doing it soon.
Sooner
but
rather
as
than
you
later.
know, here is the starboard, same as it always is. 100 stars a minute to mute Phil, because we know that's who you want to mute. Same thing for singing, because you know you want to hear Phil sing, but you know, make it appropriate with the topics tonight. And of course, for shots and beer chugs, yeah, it'll increase by 500 every time. But again, get those in early if you want to do that. And I do want to mention, folks, if you have any big spending on the stars coming up, I would recommend holding off any big spending for here just in a couple of weeks. It's coming up, and it's coming up fast, folks. I can't believe it's already here. Holy crap. May 20th, Friday, May 20th, starting at 7 p.m. This is the third annual Andre the Giant Beer Drinking Challenge and fundraiser this year, because we are raising funds for the Wounded Warrior Project. All proceeds we raise that night, whether it be $5, whether it be $5 million, they will all go to the Wounded Warrior Project. So if you want to be a big spender, this would be the night to do it, folks. Share this event with everybody you can. We want to have a good turnout. We we would like to break 200 total, and that includes the staff on camera as well as all of you in the audience. However many beers get drank, that will be the total, and we're looking for a new record as we do every year. So again, May 20th, be there for it. Whether or not you want to send in a picture or video of you drinking a beer with us, or just mention it in the comments, every little bit helps. And again, stars count, and we will find some other various ways if you are watching on a different platform such as YouTube or Twitch. So don't worry, we will find a way to make sure that your donations count. Again, all proceeds will be going to the Wounded Warrior Project. Cannot wait for that.
Yes.
So
and that is the 20th of this month, folks. Be right here. Big Buckin' Empire on YouTube and Facebook, so you can be a part of this momentous occasion, and we can do it for a good cause, folks. So that is the party to be at, the 20th of this month. You know, it's and actually, Ace and Deuce, we are on the one, the only StreamYard. Basically, the PS4 to Discord's Xbox 3 Live. You know, like that's
StreamYard is pretty handy for this, for how we do our show, because we do a ton of audience interaction with Facebook, and it makes it really, really helpful for that. Yes, StreamYard, very nice for what we do here. Any other plugs? Go ahead.
I'm never above shameless self-promotion, but I do want to say we do have some other people that are going to be joining us a little bit later. Yeah, you got to excuse Tony. He's got 4 kids that are all under the age of 7, so he might have to, dip out here once in a while. But yeah, we've got a couple other cast members that are going to be joining us.
I was
potentially
just asked a question about platforming here, folks. J Freak, hey, which platform would you rather have people watch? No, if you had to choose. You raise an interesting question. Now, I obviously want you to watch on all platforms. KOE Nation on YouTube, KOE Nation on TikTok, KOE Nation on Twitch. Now, I don't stream on TikTok because I don't have 1,000 followers yet, but I'm working on it. But yes, folks, YouTube and Twitch, 2 very big platforms of mine. If I had to choose, I guess I'm less likely to be banned on YouTube. Twitch seems to be very, very strict with its TOS and unforgiving, and you'll never know. I mean, if Destiny got banned here, who knows? But I want you to obviously watch on all. And, since you go to all, you should obviously follow KOE Nation on Twitch. And then once you're done there and you've watched for about 5-10 minutes, see what you make of the experience over at KOE Nation on YouTube, and give that a subscribe and a thumbs up, of course, and see what you make of that experience after a few minutes, and see if you like, and just find out between KOE Nation on Twitch and KOE Nation on YouTube, which KOE experience is really right for you. I mean, that's really the answer, but I think YouTube will probably be around a little longer. Twitch is what I've noticed is kind of the KOE the centrist, eh? Well, within the KOE Nation, yes. Between the bipartisans of the KOE Nation Twitch partisans and the KOE Nation YouTube partisans, I must keep these massive warring factions at peace at all times. You have to understand. So, but yeah, I want to grow both platforms. But because Twitch is a lot more money-making opportunities, which is interesting. I'm not in this for the cash. If I can make it, that's sweet. I'll find some like the Wounded Warrior Project or something like that. I'll find a charity. But with YouTube, it I don't know. It's a lot easier to use, a lot easier to get your content up, and so that's the way I would put that. Anyways, is that YouTube is, to me at least, a little more user friendly, and you can just leave your stuff up there for all time and sundry. And so I put my very timeless content on YouTube. Twitch is where I come to to breaking news, everybody. But yeah, YouTube, you can put up something like I've got a video from a couple years ago that's got like over 4,000 views now and counting. And so yeah, just let those kind of go, and that's just kind of a neat thing to check out. It's like, because I've noticed I see both chats, because that's what's awesome about StreamYard is you can see both chats. You can see all the chats, and even folks on Facebook, like Big Buck and Empire on Facebook, which you should definitely go check them out too if you haven't. Like actually, Big Buck and Empire on YouTube could really use its 170th sub. My buddy Chicken's kind of bummed out that we haven't been able to get to that 170 yet. So if you are there, go to Big Buck and Empire, just like it says here, but on YouTube, Big Buck and Empire, and you'll find it's actually where this show is actually. There we go. It's where this show is actually from, and it's where we did it the other night. And it's a really great time, really great people. And it's just my buddy Chicken was just so bummed. I thought we were going to get one more sub out of it, but it is what it is, folks. But we march onward and upward. But yes, Tony had to run off because, like I said, he's got 4 kids. Tony's my good buddy. What? Oh, thank you, Jay Freak. Thank you. You are, you know what? I'm doing it. I'm doing it right now. I am pulling out my knife to knight you. You have been knighted, and you are now an official Thane of the K.O.E. Nation. Yes, that is good for an entire month of Thaneship, Jay Freak. Here are the keys. Bring it back with a full tank of gas. Well, okay. With today's economy, bring it back with a half tank of gas. My eternal gratitude to you, Jay Freak. Thank you. I can't wait to tell my buddy about that. He's going to be quite thrilled. Finally got 170 because Big Buck and Empire, as much as I hate to say, we've been shadow banned way too many times because that's where we talk about the current event stuff. That's where we get into, like, we covered COVID. We actually had 30 episodes called the COVID Chronicles, where we basically talked about life under COVID, and like people couldn't, and that shit's going to be looked back on as like a weird time capsule years from now. And then we get into our, just talk of the day, and that's where some really controversial stuff gets down. Like that's where we've gotten all of our fucking flags, and like, you can't talk about this, you can't talk about that, you're not allowed to talk about this, and it's like, whoa, what the fuck. And so we've been shadow banned a couple of times, and then like you can see when it gets lifted, and so it's been kind of discouraging for my buddy because he's been wanting to get to that big 170. That was kind of his, all right, fucking made something. So I do appreciate that. I do very much appreciate, because we get into some shit over there. Like that's where the real, like, KOE Nation is like Big Buck and Empire with a fresh shave and a nice suit all ready for its court date. Okay. That is the difference. But let's get a little deeper into this, because this one gets fucking spicy as shit.
Her kids get to sleep. KayFellowz
And
is
thank
going
you
to be
again,
joining
Jay
us to
Freak.
give her perspective on this.
You want to,
And also,
doing
I
the Lord's
just
work.
got word that Tyberius may be showing up later as well if his when he wraps his show up. So we might be getting both Tyberius and Kay here a little later, which is perfect. I didn't want the topic to have any more than 5 people in it, because otherwise it becomes what I like to call a clusterfuck. So so here we are. We got some big brain power for this particular evening. Now, Tony, of all the topics du jour this evening, what would you like to open with, Dog of Dog and Chicken Show?
Well, there's a lot of fun things we could talk about and not get depressing right out of the gate. Project Sad Face, I think is what the fuck. Welcome back. Glad to see you, sir. I think his what the fuck was because the intro video kind of glitched on me. I don't know why right at the beginning.
Oh, no. Brandon Corblick's asking if he looks like it. To me, I think, honestly, somebody online looks like a young Alfred Pennyworth when he was giving Martha Wayne the business and got her pregnant with Bruce Wayne.
Okay,
yeah,
Phil,
that's
we're
right.
not going to get into this debate right now.
Alfred is Bruce Wayne's father. I fucking said it. Wash me in your judgment.
Batman, I'm sure that's probably true, but let's be frank. Alfred was not getting any of Martha's punan. Let's be completely
I was going for iDubbbz cosplaying as Indiana Jones when I picked my outfit originally, but I have heard Dr. Disrespect dressed as Sherlock Holmes as well, and a variety of other things. But
what was
I'm not opposed
Indiana
to any
Jones,
new ideas.
Indiana Jones' dad in was Sean Connery played Indiana Jones'
It was
dad?
Sean Connery.
Junior,
okay.
we've got to go get.
I was thinking that.
I have a hard time taking that as anything but a compliment. So I do appreciate it, sir. And I must compliment you on your hat as well. Can I ask you the brand?
Oh, this one, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I have some Stetsons, but this one is a, let me look, MITT, or MHT. It's pretty worn down. I've had this one for quite some time. MHT.
Dadgum. No, your whole aesthetic, I swear, you got the whole thing going on. I feel I have to change my glasses so I can keep up here. There we go. Now I feel a little bit more at home.
The Blues Brothers.
Now that it's getting bright in here, let's get a spicy one in here right out the gate. This one's big, folks. Like, this is a big topic. I know everybody's been talking about it. How could you not? Holy crap, this is coming from ABC News. Mike Lindell, MyPillow CEO, gets banned from Twitter yet again. It did not last long, folks. It did not last long. MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell was banned from Twitter for a second time after attempting to use a new account to access the social media platform. Lindell set up an account on Sunday on Twitter under Mike J. Lindell. The account was quickly suspended. Twitter said Monday that Lindell's new account was permanently suspended for violating its rules on ban evasion. Lindell's original Twitter account was permanently banned in January 2021 after Lindell continued to perpetuate the baseless claim, quote unquote, that Donald Trump won the 2020 U.S. presidential election. And at the time, Twitter said that it decided to ban Lindell to repeated violations of its civic integrity policy.
So basically, Mike Lindell probably thought, well, now that Elon Musk is running Twitter here, I can just go right on, make myself a nice new MyPillow Twitter account, and just start letting everybody know that if you go to MyPillow.com, type in promo code Q17, you will get an amazing 17% off of MyPillow. So yeah, I think that's probably what he was thinking at this point. Now, I gotta say, Mike, I get that you wanted to get into the activism game and you were pro-Trump and everything. I think this might have hurt your overall ability to sell pillows.
Any publicity is good publicity for a guy like Mike Lindell at this point, I feel like. But yeah, I think he jumped the gun on this one a little bit. He probably should have waited until maybe a sale was finalized and Elon goes, on the warpath and slashes out the censorship program of Twitter. But the article does go on to say he felt obligated to get back on Twitter and prove that he, in fact, is the real Mike Lindell, because there were so many fake accounts that he just had to prove that he is the one true Mike Lindell, because we know he's the real Shady, the real Slim Shady. All you other Slim Shadys are just imitating. Now we know, and they did find the real Slim Shady, and he's already been banned again. And I did find it interesting at the bottom of this article.
I am Spartacus. No, I am Spartacus. I'm Mike Lindell. No, I'm Mike Lindell. No, I'm Mike Lindell.
Guys, I think you guys are giving him.
I'm sorry. That was fucking brilliant. That was fucking amazing. Steven Alexander Martinez asks, any plans to invite somebody again? Yes, actually, I do. I think he's an interesting fella, interesting cat. So I definitely have him again. And actually, I had a certain somebody on this show last night. Interesting fella on as well. Brendan and then Scanners. Very, very interesting guy. I think I'm going to have him back on again sometime soon. I don't know. Did you see that episode? If you could, let me know what your thoughts are on that. I'd really like to know. Again, I am an open book, folks. Ask me anything. And if I find you engaging, might even ask you on.
A little bit of a hard time. He is an older gentleman. The internet is an extremely complicated place. I mean, it's hard to know what you can and what you can't do. And the Logan Paul effect is kind of a good thing. So, I mean, this is sort of helping his brand as a whole, especially amongst the I don't know how to use the internet crowd.
That's true. I'll give you that. And but to be fair, he feels like he's very tech savvy because he is basically a voting booth expert, and he's proven that over the last year and a half.
Voting machines.
True. He has learned a lot very quickly.
It's like, hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and is it really all that hard for you to believe that a decade ago I was addled on crack in Tuscaloosa, Wisconsin, all that? Like, it is a little, it is kind of fun. Granted, I love Mike Lindell.
He is the Rob Ford of the pillow game.
He is, but Ace of Deuce, I still don't know why Mike Lindell has any influence in politics because he fucking sells the political pillows, okay? How did he go from a man selling pillows to some sort of political influence? Like, honestly, I think he was one of the first, like, publicly known entrepreneurs that, like, full-throatedly endorsed Trump. God damn it, Trump, I fucking love you. You're the best. I wrote you a poem, Don. Would you like to hear it? Roses are red, violets are blue, your hair is so golden, I love you. Like I think that was probably had a little something to do with it. Because he was just the first one to just jump out there. And then he didn't I gotta give him credit. He's a true believer. He's a true believer. Like
that's the best word to describe him. That man believes and believes, and first he believes, and then he finds proof after that.
Yeah, that's true. Proof be damned, he's going to believe it regardless. Now, I didn't realize this. Now, we know Trump has his own social media platform. Like, Mike Lindell obviously idolizes Donald Trump, and he followed suit in getting banned on Twitter, just like Trump did. And apparently, he also found another way to copy Trump. We know Trump has True Social. Are you aware of something called Frank Social?
Nice.
Yeah, apparently Mike Lindell also has a social media platform called Frank Social. I did not bother to look into it at all because frankly, I'm terrified to see what I find.
Now, considering how slow it was for Trump to get people onto Truth Social, I'm assuming you need to complete at least a $70 order on mypillow.com in order to get a membership on Frank Social.
Usually you get free shipping, but you just get a membership to Frank Social.
Yeah,
I'm so glad that you used the word frankly in a sentence after that, because I thought we were talking about a dude named Frank, and I was wondering why Mike named his freaking social media platform after his boyfriend.
I'm a little perplexed by everything that Mike Lindell
does.
That
was back in the crack days, allegedly. Let's not bring that up, somebody.
Anytime I see Mike Lindell's name pop up on any story, I cannot help but think about the video of him. I can't remember who he was on with, whatever show he was on. But somebody managed to call the show and pretend to be Donald Trump, and he is just elated and excited and just so happy. Oh, we're right here with the real president of the United States, Donald Trump. Mr. President, can I hear you? And they just immediately troll him, and he's just wrecked. You can just see the defeat in his face. It just ruined his entire year. I almost felt bad for him. It was beautiful.
It's like, damn it, I got trolled on live TV. like that guy. God. But again, God bless him. I mean, now what's funny is his pillows, from everything I've heard and from everything I've felt personally, damn good pillows and sheets. Like, apparently, like, even the people who like hate, like, there was a story about somebody who's working for the Biden White House. They go home to their parents over the weekend over some holiday. They're like, wow, that pillow and those sheets were amazing on my bed, Mom. Where'd you get? Oh, they're the My Pillow guy. Oh my God, burn them, throw them out. What the fuck? And so, like, apparently, even if you're a Biden supporter, they're pretty good sheets. So, you know,
that's what they say.
I mean, how much are those pillows though? They better be darn good.
Yeah, they're not cheap.
They don't give them away. No. They're not. Yeah, they're not like a Walmart pillow that you can get for like
somebody
$3.
Signed me up for something, and every like couple months I'll receive a text message saying, "Hey, check out this link and get like 20% off of my pillow order. Introducing my sheets this week." I didn't sign up for this. Thanks a lot. Probably Phil. Thanks, Phil.
Well, yeah. I just wanted to make sure that you got a lot of right-wing advertisements in your. Well, hello, Kay. How we doing? No, what you got to understand, Project, is that the K.O.E. Nation fans are so tech savvy that just one viewer means that like 30,000 of the K.O.E. Nation are watching us in a side
let's
watch
not
party.
use Biden math. Come on.
Well, okay, 20,000.
Allegedly.
20,000. Okay, so you know we're reaching nationwide to the millions and millions of Phil K.O.E. big bucking fans here, folks. And so yes, don't ever like we're kind of like the Tusken Raiders from Star Wars. We walk in single file to hide our numbers. But yes, Kay, we're looking forward to getting you on the show, and we are gonna get deeper into this crazy fucking adventure we call life. So,
all right, Phil beat that outro from that topic to death. And speaking of beatdowns, Let's see what the current update is on this shit show. So judge reacts to Amber Heard's motion to toss out Johnny Depp's defamation case. Big shocker here. That didn't happen. And I love the picture of the judge here. And I keep seeing highlights of this thing pop up on like TikTok. She just looks so defeated today. Somebody was taking a video and she just looks so annoyed. Like she might just retire after this whole shit show ends. Judge presiding over Johnny Depp's $50 million defamation lawsuit rejected Amber Heard's motion to toss out the case, according to Deadline.com. Penny Azkarate, I am sure I butchered that, said that sufficient evidence had been presented by Depp's lawyers to keep the case ongoing. Heard's motion to strike is almost a formality after plaintiffs wrap up their case, and it was expected that Azkarate would reject such an effort. That is completely as expected. We did not expect this to go away just because her lawyers came off of wish.com and they are god awful. And I mean every bit of god awful. I thought Binger was bad last year. Now these people are just completely inept in every aspect of the law. I feel like this is probably their first case overall. And she finally did take the stand this week. And from what little I've seen of that, she's not doing a very good job herself, and it's been pretty inconsistent. So, yeah, it's not going to go well. How this thing ends, it's going to be a fiery disaster, Titanic meltdown sink, and I cannot wait to see it.
What I do got to say is, and Tony, resend K the link, but what I do got to say is, when I now hear about Amber Heard, in my mind, I've already gotten entrance music for whoa, here she comes. She's a man beater. Whoa, here she comes. Like, so that's now going to be the first thing I think of when I hear Amber these days, because it's not looking good for her side. Like I was about to say, Binger is like a persuasion master compared to her attorneys. Like she is not getting her money's worth. Hell, even Jesse's attorneys were better. They at least got him out at the end, in the end of it. So I would say this has not been a good case for Amber. And Johnny Depp, he's just been kind of charming his way through it, which I always say you always got to be skeptical of somebody that's charming their way through a court, because you're supposed to be a little nervous and a little stressed when you're in a courtroom. But he just seems as cool as ice, really. So
yeah, the acting chops plus how inept the attorneys for her are. I wouldn't be so nervous myself if I were him.
Yeah, honestly, I think it is a part of the, Johnny Depp is a fucking top level actor, probably has something to do with it. But something I've always found a little skeptical in this whole trial. Somebody, have you been following this particular carnival at all?
So I actually have a little bit of history of spending some time down at the local county courthouses and paying attention to various trials, because most of these things are actually typically open to the public. And
Jeremy,
things
I
that
can't
I've heard
see
and
how much
seen in
was
this
that
trial don't appear to be that out of the ordinary from anything that I've heard going on.
And I got to say, Jeremy, whatever you're doing, thank you, but don't go too deep. Save that for the 20th for the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. That, and also I'll have to find a way to find out what that was. I'll have to text Chicken or something. Okay. Then that's just God bless her. But the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal is when you really want to get in on that, folks. Yep, they are working. But yes, you want to make sure they are working for the Andre the Giant Memorial Beer Battle Royal that's coming up on the 20th, where we try to match the boss's record of drinking that many beers. 115 beers was his record. Then we got to top last year's record, 156. See how far we can go. We're going to need your help, folks. And you know it.
On in the inner cities, in local municipalities, or things like this. I think that there's a lot more media attention, and I'm really excited to see what happens after all of the dust settles in all of this. But things are definitely kind of tending to look one particular way at this point. But who am I to say what that is?
It's just a fascinating thing of nobody really seems to take it seriously, as seriously. Like when the woman's hitting the man, it doesn't seem to have the same weight to it. Now, granted, there is there is actually a difference in proportional force, so that's understood. But I just remember one time, I think it was Teen Titans Go, I forget which show it was, but it was two characters that were in a relationship, and the female just slaps the fucking bejesus out of the male character, and I just kind of thought, all right, so that's still going to be acceptable for another generation now. Great. That's something that I've just kind of noticed. Like, I want to get to the point where there is no physical violence in any relationship, unless like one of y'all's into like the choking thing, then that's a different thing. But like, if there's just no initiations of the use of force on either side, it's like I always say at the beginning of any relationships, we don't hit, we don't slam doors at each other, we don't name call, we don't yell, we don't dress each other down in public and try to humiliate each other in front of friends and family. We're going to treat each other with mutual respect always, and I'm always very upfront about that. Hey Steve, God bless. Project Somebody and Tony looking straight up sketch tonight. I'm thinking
the Blues Brothers project. Like, come on, don't you cannot. Come on, sketch the Blues Brothers. You're gonna sit here and shit on the Blues Brothers. I can't
The Blues
even. How dare you?
Brothers. Wait a minute, we got Jeremy saying, "Oh yes, I think I might join that one. I joined the first one. Nice. Well done. And we will see how far that one goes the next time round. First one got a little saucy, if I do remember.
On your love life."
So, I mean, Phil, you did make me promise that I wouldn't go too deep into the whole post-genderism, post-humanity arguments and trying to look at things without the lenses of genders. But yeah, no, I tend not to agree with you. I have always looked at these different videos of people on the internet where we have two children in a school, and there's a young lady who is much larger than the young man, and she's beating on the young man, and then the young man comes through with an uppercut, the young lady falls down, and then everybody in the school tackles the young man for assaulting the woman. When we're looking at adults and we're dealing with people in consenting relationships, we have different power dynamics, and typically a man's going to be bigger than a woman, but we can't talk about typical situations and pass generalized rules and base social expectations on things, or else we end up with things like, hey, I'm allowed to punch you, but you're not allowed to punch me, which is never going to be a good recipe.
Hang on. Stop the presses. The big bucking empire has been revisited. It's been far too long. We have now been revisited by the one, the only, KayFellowz. Thank you for gracing this panel with your presence this evening, madam. How are we doing?
Well, thank you guys for having me on. I'm doing good.
Absolutely.
Alrighty.
We had to give some female perspective regardless of who was on, because let's be frank, a bunch of guys talking about the meat of the show tonight was going to be questionable at best. So you definitely lend a ton of credence and credibility, and we are just super glad to have you. Thank you for joining us.
We needed your expertise to also be a combo breaker to this sausage fest.
Absolutely.
So welcome to the show. We're actually talking Johnny Depp, Amber Heard for just a little bit here. Now, curious, have you been following this circus fiasco at all?
Oh yeah, I've been following very, very closely. I'm a huge Johnny Depp fan.
All right.
Well, so how do you think it's going for Amber?
Oh, not good. She has definitely exposed the living crap out of herself. I think that she had quite a bit of support going into this whole fiasco, and it's just been dwindling little by little. I don't see how she has any support.
Whoa. And don't worry, her audio gets better and not too terribly long. At one point I just said, could you turn that down just a little tiny bit? And then it's all kosher from there. It's all just BN. DZ Drunk asks, is that Tony G, the poker god? That's Tony G. But no, you are looking at the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man too sweet to be sour when it comes to a deck and chips in poker. So now me and Tony, we play many a game of poker. He would say he's better than me. I would say that I'm better than him. I guess you'll just have to sit down at a table with us to really tell us which one's which.
Support left at this point. I think that her small little band of supporters that she's managed to cling onto are overwhelmingly people that have been taken advantage of and truly want to believe that she is the victim that she's claimed that she is, but she just isn't.
Yeah, belief by default at this point, because it's every day it seems like something has been obviously contradictory, and all the audio tapes that are coming out and the text message conversations between her and other people. It's just everything has been so damning. And even her own testimony has been so conflated and contradictory to what she's saying in the moment. Like, she can't even keep her own story straight. I can't imagine this is going to go anywhere near her favor. And when it does inevitably go in Johnny Depp's favor, I'm afraid to see the flame out that she has, because it's going to be very dramatic, I have a feeling.
Well, the saddest thing is that Amber Heard is only known as big as she is because of her relationship with Johnny Depp. I mean, who knew who Amber Heard was outside of, oh, she's an Aquaman and she used to be married to Johnny Depp. She was a very, very nobody doing small time, like, Nicolas Cage type shit, but never got her big break to where everybody knew who she was. So, I mean, quite honestly, a lot of people believed that her marriage to Johnny, because of the age gap and because it seemed like this was the most random coupling ever, a lot of people have been under the assumption that probably it started with her clout chasing.
That's fair. I say
Nobody wants
the
to
Pirates of the
comment.
Caribbean movies.
Yeah,
were,
no, I'm not sure how relevant that maybe necessarily is. Like, my wife's a famous Twitch streamer as well. Whether she's bigger than me or smaller than me is irrelevant. I don't like to reveal who this individual is so that it doesn't influence anybody's opinion of myself or herself based on who either one of these people are. It helps in social situations. I could understand where it would be a good idea. I could also understand where it might be a good idea to reveal to everybody like this deep, intimate relationship. But I also find that involving the public in private affairs is very rarely a very good way to go about things. Granted, according to the court case and all the things that are going on, we're seeing a lot of other things. I just don't know, like, how big of a star, how successful in her career she was before or after the relationship started. I don't know how relevant all of this may be.
Well, I mean, I think that it would be interesting to know, as far as breaking down this whole situation, like, where did it start? What was the purpose? I mean, did she go into this relationship with an intention, or was she truly in love with this man and it spiraled into a absolute shit show of not just physical abuse? I mean, quite honestly, the physical abuse is probably the least horrifying thing out of all of this. It is the emotional and psychological abuse that she has inflicted on this man. And I think that it would be interesting to know if this was the goal going into the relationship, or if this is just something that this is a woman that is very, very deeply troubled and has a sincere need for a lot of psychological help, that unfortunately he was the person that was there to take the brunt of it.
Now, if I may, for just a moment, this is something that even if you were to bring him into court and have him swear, I don't think he would say it honestly. And this is just circumstantial. But you remember that time when Amber was dating Elon Musk, and suddenly when they were out and about, Elon had all these marks on his face? Just saying. This might be a bit more indicative behavior. This might be something that she's...
there's the cameo. He made the comments, at least. All right, we're not completely poultry free tonight. Hello, chicken. May your travels be well. Well.
Yes, we've got a crazy cast of characters this evening, but I know that's a bit of circumstantial evidence, and that's one of those things that in a court it wouldn't hold up, but in the court of public opinion, that is damning evidence, unfortunately.
Well, and that's the thing. The court of public opinion, regardless of the outcome of this, like, the damage is done. Like Johnny Depp said, what have you lost? Like, nothing less than everything, because regardless of the outcome, even how good he comes out looking from this, the damage is done in a lot of people's eyes who, like Kay said, are going to believe Amber Heard regardless of her innocence. So and this is the same stigma for anybody who has false accusations or real accusations, regardless of the outcome. It's not like people forget, and especially those close to you. The stigma still remains. Even if they believe you, it's still there, and they still think about it to some degree.
Oh yeah, like that's the problem. Is like Ronald Reagan said after he had been vindicated in some, I forget what the hell it was even about, but he said, "Well, that's very nice that I've now been completely vindicated. Now, who do I go to see to get my reputation back?"
Yeah.
There's nobody to go do that. So that's the problem with these accusations. But you've noticed that, like, over the years, they're starting to have less teeth. Like an accusation 5-6 years ago was pretty much the end of somebody's political career. Now
That's
it's
true.
almost kind of like a measure of, oh, okay. Like the guy that's running for governor here in Nebraska just had a sexual misconduct allegation. And basically it's like, okay, if he can weather this storm, he's fucking safe for the rest of his political career. That's how it is now, because you can almost like, if you've made any measure in this world, if you're going to do anything of any consequence, you can almost set your watch to the fact that there's going to be some sort of accusation of some sort of impropriety against you at some point against somebody from somebody. So
there is something to this, okay? We'll go back in the good old days. Just to be accused of something was such an assault upon my character. I'm so humiliated I can no longer show myself in public. And to be the president and to be accused of such a thing is so disgraceful that I will resign. Now, we've only been accused of something. And as time has gone on and lawyers have become more litigant and everybody has gotten more used to the idea of it's not over until the fat lady sings, so to speak, everybody's trying to fight this out to the bitter end. And again, we're discovering this amazing feature of Logan Paul syndrome that I don't want to say that cancel culture isn't a thing, but gee willikers, your target base and the people that love you are going to love you because they love you because you say the things that you say. And it doesn't matter how loud you say them or where you say them or what your opponents say about you. A lot of times the people that love you are going to love you. Now, if you come out and you say something totally egregious that your fans aren't going to agree with you on, I don't know that this is canceling so much as you saying something that made your fans go, ugh, I don't know about this guy anymore.
Well, that's totally fine, just so long as we can still, like, you know, click on the content creator and hear what they have to say from time to time, rather than being just disappeared down the 1984 Orwellian memory hole. Like, so long as we can at least do that, that's totally fine.
That is kind of the thing about the internet, though, is the amazing thing about all of the variety of amazing websites all over the place. And I hate to bring it back to our last story. Mike can still have a Facebook account, and if he needs to put his promo codes out, he doesn't have to do it on Twitter. That's not the only social media game out there. I hear Trump's got one, and shoot, I hear he's got a buddy named Frank that built him one too. So, like,
well, what we don't really need to worry about is because, like, leftists said for years, well, if you don't like it, you can just make your own platform. Elon Musk said, I'll do you one better. I'll just buy me one. And so now we're about to see what that's about to look like here in the very near future, folks. But Mike Lindell jumped the gun. He thought, Elon's taking over. Surely I can start a new Twitter now. No, you got to wait a few more months.
Oh, God, it's real. It's real.
I have always looked at the leftist whenever they talk about the way that these decisions are made, and people are accusing them of, well, they're just conforming to what these people want. And the people on the left are saying, thank God these people are doing everything that we want. Really, this is a private company making private company decisions and deciding what the public is going to perceive as being the best course of action, what's going to generate them the best revenue source. Elon Musk has taken a large portion of his, net worth. Well, not even really a large portion, but a good chunk of it, a lot more money than what I've got. He's put it into an investment in a new business, in which he thinks that he can make a couple changes that are going to increase the potential revenue and therefore like increase his net worth, so that he can either sell this company down the road to someone else and let them continue his changes and his great vision, or maybe he thinks that this is going to be what makes him famous and he'll run for president one day on the platform of, don't you remember what a great president of Twitter I was? Now I can be the president of everything else too. But we'll see how that goes.
Now, I got to say once again, folks, stop the presses. This is an unprecedented show we have this evening. We are now being joined not only by KayFellowz, thank you for gracing this panel with your presence, but the one, the only, the big brain motherfucker himself, Tyberius fucking D. Welcome to the show, good sir.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Hope you're doing well.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Now, I got to ask, Tyberius, I assume, I'm sure everybody here does as well, but are you about to sign up for franksocial.com like we all are? Because this is a must. This is going to be the hot new social media platform. I don't know how we get the streaming on there, but it's going to have to happen next week.
Wait, is it like, correct me if I'm wrong, this is My Pillow guy, right?
Yeah, that's Mike Lindell. We found out earlier.
Mike Lindell's Frank Social. This is the
he rejoined Twitter. He rejoined Twitter on Sunday, only to be banned again after about 3 hours because they don't let you come back yet. So he followed Trump in getting banned on Twitter, and then he also followed Trump in making his own social media platform, and I can't wait to join it. I just can't wait.
Sounds like cancer in a box.
Ouch.
Oh, it's going to be horrible. It's going to be absolutely horrible. I can't wait.
It's called the marketplace of ideas. It's a beautiful thing. It's an American concept. I love it.
I hate it. Stop doing this to me.
Say what Say what you want. That crazy son of a bitch can sell some pillows. Now, yes, but let's be frank. Him getting into politics really fucked with his ability to sell pillows. Okay, like I'm guessing he sold less pillows than he would have otherwise. He won't even.
I still haven't gotten over his very, very small appearance in the Abby Johnson movie. I was like, I'm sitting in a theater, I'm like, is that the My Pillow guy?
It is. Hey, Kay, can you turn your mic down just a little teeny
bit?
Okay.
Oh, yeah, you wouldn't want to be louder than Phil. He hates when that happens.
No, I could just see Tiberius like, oh my God. Like, yeah, it was just like, but no, it was one of those like, all right, sorry, Tiberius, I'm totally throwing you under the bus here.
No, you're fine. I'm not trying to be rude, but I totally did do that. So
okay. Desperado Sensei says, push the boundaries of what is, quote, free speech, where without breaking the law, I wonder what voices would get, quote, silenced. Well, I've always been a believer that sunlight is the best disinfectant. And if you want to run to the intellectual hall monitors, that's just a way of implicitly admitting that maybe your ideas aren't quite as good as you think they are. So
well, you thought it was bleach. Come on. You bought into Trump saying it was bleach. It's bleach. Come on.
He never said that. He said the potential of injecting disinfectant. He never said bleach. Never. So,
all right. So,
why do you do this?
We've touched on Mike Lindell and Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Shall we get into it, or do we want to?
I think we should. I think it's time to get into the main event because, like Tiberius K, somebody online, it's just been such a slow news week. There's just really nothing to talk about this week. There's really it's been pretty just ho-hum business as usual.
Yeah.
Nothing really, no big controversies, no giant court decisions of the century that are going to be.
We were talking
down.
about controlled substances on my channel.
Well, we're now about to be talking about a very uncontrolled substance, the mob's rage. We're getting into that very soon. So, Roe v. Wade.
Gummit.
Dang it, because Wade is one of the drinking words tonight, folks. So, all right, so Roe, the Roe decision.
Wow. So this is why we usually use Wikipedia, because apparently Britannica.com is just super damn busy. Wow. Those of you unfamiliar with Roe v. the W word, legal case in which the U.S. Supreme Court on January 22nd, 1973 ruled 7-2 that unduly restrictive state regulation of abortion is unconstitutional. In a majority opinion written by Justice Harry A. Blackmun, the court held that a set of Texas statutes criminalizing abortion in most instances violated a woman's constitutional right of privacy, which it found to be implicit in the liberty guarantee of the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. And yes, this week has been a little bit tumultuous, to say the least. We're finding that there is a leak that was starting in February. The Supreme Court was kicking around the idea of overturning Roe v. Wade. Now, we can speculate. We can start there. Let's speculate why this is the first big Supreme Court leak, ever. Why is this happening? What's the goal here? Is it a real leak? Is it not? What do you guys think in terms of the speculation of how and why this got leaked?
Let's start off with, Ty, since you just got here to the show, let's start with you, good sir.
So I'll do the why, and then the how I'm still kind of up in the air on. The why is this is such a big deal that no matter if you are on the right or you on the left, you have a very damn good reason for letting everybody know what's coming down the pipe on this one. This is one of the political events of the decade. And we're only 2 years into the decade, but I'm 100 or 2 or 3, but 100%, like this is overturning 50 years of statute, I guess. There's a stare decisis is what the term of it is. But it's overturning about 50 years of that, if not more. Holy crap. like literally, I was talking with my folks about this. Like you look at lawyer movies for the last 40 years, if they don't mention Roe, holy crap. So long story short for me is this. The whys are, this is huge. And the sooner everybody knows, the better, because if anyone's going to change their mind or you're going to start banging the drum, do it now. I actually don't blame somebody for leaking this. The question is how. I'm not an insider when it comes to Washington politics. I'm usually wrong on 90% of what they do because they're quite honestly insane. But when it comes down to what is happening here, whether that person should be like let go, fired, I don't really care. It's not my prerogative. This is not really a me thing. Simply putting it this way, if people didn't think that this was going to have a huge blow up effect when it was announced, like you're just seeing this ahead of time.
Now, Kay, what is your take on this?
Well, it really depends on who you ask. I have the benefit of being in both the pro-choice, like the very, very pro-choice leftist circles, and also being in the very, very right-wing pro-life circles. And it really depends on which side that you ask. If you talk to the pro-lifers, they believe, their theory is that an extreme, somebody that is pro-choice, that is working for one of these more conservative judges, saw what was happening and decided to leak this. Leftists have a different theory. They believe that the conservatives were actually the ones that leaked this, because if you look back at just how politics works, it would be in their benefit to leak this out, because judges are significantly less likely to change their vote because they don't want to be seen as having changed their vote due to the peer pressure of society whenever they're supposed to be an unbiased court. So, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I don't think that it really, really matters why it was leaked or who leaked it. The point is that it's been leaked and we have to deal with the fallout. And quite frankly, I don't think that either side is doing that very well right now.
And to somebody online.
Yes, sir.
What is your take on the leakage here? We got a very drippy faucet over at the Supreme Court.
I think that everybody's very interested in everything. And I think that the more that everybody has cell phones and social media accounts and friends and curious family members, I mean, golly, man, when you find out that there's a new thing coming out, you just got to tell everybody about it. And it's kind of inevitable. This is just something that's going to happen. I don't necessarily know who did it and why did it and what did it. I'm kind of into the whole thing about the chaos of the universe and things that are going to happen. It's kind of going to happen.
Now for me, when it comes to the leaker, from everything that I've read, it sounds like it was one of Sonia Sotomayor's aides. That's what the rumor mill's saying, and we got a name.
Clerks.
It's one of the clerks. It's some 18-year-old kid, and to be frank, or not 18-year-old, it's a little older than that. They just got their fucking law degree, and their dad was some sort of big investment banker, and this kid's career in that town is done. Now, of course, winky face in a video game, but like, if you think Sonia Sotomayor had anything to do with this, hell no. She is going to have that clerk's balls in a jar on her desk the minute she finds out what you fucked with me and made me look like a complete moron in front of the rest of the Supreme Court. Like, yeah, she's gonna be the one that fucking does him in if the rumors are true. Now, why it happened is because if you're on the left side of the aisle, this is the sacred cow, like Tyberius said earlier. Like, there is no greater sacred cow than this for the left. Now, what I think is the reason this got leaked is, I think the leaker had the idea of, well, if we can get the public to know, maybe we can get enough action. And like, really all this is doing is just causing people to think about how they're going to vote this particular fall, because Biden and Harris, they're basically standing in front of a burning house, which is the Roe decision, going, hey, if you vote for us in November, we'll turn the water on and start spraying. And like, a lot of people like, it's going to be a little too late by then. So we will see what happens. But me, in terms of the leaker, going to be disbarred, never going to work in that town again. Will probably be flipping burgers for the rest of his life if it wasn't for his daddy's investment banker money. So
yeah, I think it's all going to come down, regardless of who leaked it or why they leaked it. I would assume that the big impetus would be the midterm elections coming up. For whatever reason, they thought leaking it was going to influence it one way or another. Now, whether that was to make the Democrats look even more inept heading into that, or whether it was just to light a fire under their ass, because the last time the Democrats got pissed off, well, we got Joe Biden in office. So it worked to a degree in that regard. But I think that was probably the reason. Like, we had to stir the pot one way or another to get an outcome that wasn't just an absolute landslide, which many are predicting come the midterms. So I think that's where it all stems from. Now,
I was about to say, that's kind of my I was gonna say that's kind of my twofer question that I've got for everybody here in the panel and for all of you in the audience. A, do you think this is going to have a significant impact on the midterms if it goes one way or the other? Because to me, I'm of the opinion that everybody's dug in like a tick and they're not moving on this, and they haven't moved in 20 fucking years. So I think I don't think this is going to, because even when you say, well, what about the moderates? What about the moderates? The moderates have figured out which side they're on by now. So I think that would be one thing to consider. But I'm curious what all you think about in terms of the midterms. And the other big question, is any conservative justice going to cross over to the liberal side and save Roe? And if so, who? Because you'll notice in these big cultural issues, the liberal justices never have they ever crossed over to the conservative side. Liberals get what they want out of their justices. It's only the conservatives that ever have to worry about one getting wobbly. And so I think it's probably going to be most likely Kavanaugh, but could also be Amy Coney Barrett. And with that, what do y'all think?
Go ahead.
Let's start with Kay. Ladies first. I am a chauvinist and I'm old-fashioned, so ladies first.
I have to agree with you. I still have my eye on Kavanaugh. I've been watching him like a hawk. I did not have much faith that he was even going to be on this side in the very, very early deliberations. I am pleasantly surprised, but especially with the amount of pressure that he went through with his confirmations, all of that, the amount of pressure that he's about to be under it's going to make that look like child's play. They are going to come for him and his family and his loved ones like he has not even seen. And I do feel for him, but I do hope that he stands strong in his stance, because of course I believe that he is on the right side of this. But I do disagree that to somewhat just in regards to moderate voters. I think that if this was an abortion supporting person that leaked this, I think that they might have shot themselves in the foot with this one, because what we've seen in pro-life activism is that there are a lot of people that are still sitting on the fence in regards to abortion, and it is mainly because of an insane amount of misinformation in regards to what Roe v. Wade is, what it does, and what is going to come if it is overturned. Because you have statistics telling us that 63% of the voting population supports Roe v. Wade, but we also have statistics of 60 or 70% of voters also supporting restricting abortion to the first trimester, and those are conflicting opinions. But a lot of people don't know that those are conflicting opinions because they don't know what Roe v. Wade is. Once they know what Roe v. Wade is, and they see that they've been duped and that they can still hold the stance that they hold whenever it comes to abortion while not supporting Roe v. Wade, the abortion supporters are going to lose a lot of support that they've had in people that are sitting on the fence right now.
You know, that I never thought of it that way, but we will see here in a very few short months whether that is correct, which is kind of like what Abe Lincoln said when in the movie Abe, if you ever seen it, Daniel Day-Lewis. Well, I emancipated all the slaves, and I said, from this day henceforth, all slaves are freed. But I also might have been wrong about that. So I gave people a year and a half to think about it, and they reelected me. So we're going to find out this fall what people think about that. Now, somebody, what is your thought on this particular question, sir? Well, while somebody gathers his thoughts, Ron Martin says, minimal impact on midterms. Possible this was leaked as a distraction to take heat of failing Biden-Harris. There's a lot of different theories. I'm kind of going with the Sonia Sotomayor aid theory. That's the one that I think is probably going to end up being the most correct, just because it's from some sources that I trust. So we'll see what happens though, because we may never know. But I think in terms of the midterms, we're on the cusp of a recession.
if we're not already in one, which I think we might. And if that's the case, nothing's going to save the Democrats at this point. So I think this will have minimal impact on the midterms. And there's going to be a big Second Amendment win, which is going to really energize the right. So I think it's going to be, in the end, a wash. But we will see.
So it's hard to say exactly. I mean, it is definitely going to have an influence on the midterm elections. I think that there's a big issue that the left is having with apathy as far as motivating their base. And I feel like this may feed a little bit of encouragement to that side of things. I feel like this may also be the victory that the people on the right have needed to keep their furnaces going, so to speak, in order to keep them, you know, moving into the right places and doing the right things. It is going to be very hard to tell. This next midterm election is going to be a very contentious one. I am not sure how it is going to go. I think that there's a lot of enthusiasm sort of all over the place for it, but I don't know if I'm seeing as much enthusiasm on the left as what I tend to see on the right a lot of times.
And do you think any of the conservative justices will cross over? And if so, which ones?
As far as crossover into preserving Roe,
yeah,
again,
everybody, all eyes are on Kavanaugh.
Yeah, Comey Barrett and Kavanaugh tend to be the most like textualist and tend to rely on the actual written word and rely on the historical precedent and what has been the case for longer. And they seem to be less inclined with sort of trying to set new precedents and creating new ideas and making changes. So again, if we are going to see anybody stick to the idea of let's keep things the same way, I think that those are probably the two best options for it. But I mean, if you're asking me for odds in Vegas, it wouldn't be a bet that I'd place.
Yeah, I was betting, like in the midterms, I was betting heavy Republicans until this hit. Now it, like, at least for the next month, if they were to hold the election within the next month, it could be anybody's game. But we still got a lot of time between now and midterms. So Tiberius, been waiting patiently, good sir. What is your analysis on these two questions?
I'm largely going to echo the last statement that you just made, and it'd be the antithesis of K, in regards that I think this is going to be huge. And before this had fired off, literally, if you had asked me a week ago where the midterms were going to go, I was expecting literally one of the biggest swings in House history, if not like the biggest. The record is like 120, and I'm serious with how bad people are paying out the nose when it came to inflation. I think that the Democrats were going to get their asses handed to them. This issue, though, I'm going to use some polling from Tiberius D. Is when it comes to the people that I've actually chatted with, and I regard this as disaffected voters and moderates, is that this one has pissed off a lot of people. Don't get me wrong, there was a lot of people that were very energized by this decision, and I think a lot of the like the core, the left and the right are absolutely have been reinvigorated. They're going to the polls. That is its own prerogative. We can like break those voter blocks down. But what really is interesting to me is that I have always talked to disengaged voters just to see, hey, what would it ever take to get you to actually vote? And one of two major issues is exactly this, particularly for moderate women who are disengaged voters who don't usually vote, is that they don't really care about the system. They don't really, give a shit. But when it comes down to it, is that the ending of Roe v. Wade almost always is one of the big things that would actually get them to actually go vote, because they do want that right, not only for themselves, but for other women. And what surprised me actually was not just that women were saying this, but moderate men in the last couple of days have been coming out to me and saying the exact same thing, is that to a large degree, they would rather have like a semi-social, and like the polling data supports this. Most people have a moral issue with abortion, but they want some window where you can have one. And the issue that I keep running into is that these folks are kind of under the impression that if Roe goes, even places like Mississippi, Texas will ban abortion, which I don't know. But what I can definitely say is they want not a constitutional, they want a federal protection that there's going to be some window in there And if it's not, they're willing to go, all right, the national like trend is more important than the state trend on this issue. So that's what I've seen and what I've heard through just engaging with voters and people, because I've gotten way too many political phone calls this week. Holy crap.
Probably one or two. T, do you got a question? Because I got a handful.
No, I was just going to say, I don't actually expect anybody to flip when it comes down to it. I think it's going to be pretty much as expected. Everybody expects Kavanaugh. If it's going to be anybody, then that's probably the most likely. That's what I've been hearing anyway. So I don't really expect anything. Now, in terms of your other question was, how is this going to impact the midterms?
The midterms. How do you think this is going to swing it?
I don't think it's going to, like you said, if it happened tomorrow, yeah. But come the time that it actually goes down, I think we're going to have a pretty clear-cut idea of where it's going to be going into it. I think it's going to settle back down. I think maybe not nearly as big of a landslide as before, but I think it's probably going to swing back in that favor. Now, the thing about the Roe case is a lot of people don't really understand it, don't understand why it was implemented in the first place, how it came to be, and the fallout from it. And now, the fact that it hasn't been overturned in as long as it's been, after people picked it apart for as long as they have. Why is it happening now? Like, you can connect the dots and say, yeah, it's all due to elections. But given the fact that we've had new justices come in over the last few years now, I guess it also makes sense to see why it would be happening now in that regard. But I think it is still mostly trying to dictate the election. So whether or not that happens and really makes a big impact, I really don't think so, because you're going to see the big summer fallout, blowout, and you're going to probably have people swapping sides ultimately, regardless of how this goes down. I think more information is already public knowledge concerning Roe Wade. You're going to see people learning stuff that they didn't already know. And I think you're going to see people swapping sides on both ends.
In the flood of information. Now, this is something that just kind of occurred to me, and this is something I'm going to pose to the entire panel here. Just one. So I got other questions here, but this one's just a very simple one. And I'm going to start with you, Kay, because you've interacted with so many communities on both on both sides of this particular issue. And we've seen it for decades. And I'm curious, the whole panel here, everybody within the sound of my voice, what your thoughts are between the pro-lifers and the pro-choicers. Which side wants it more?
You know, as a pro-lifer, people would expect me to say, like, obviously the pro-lifers want it more. But after doing this for almost 9 years, I have to say that I truly believe that whenever it comes to the activism side of it, the abortion supporters want it more. They do. I mean, Tony kind of touched on this. Like, why has it taken us 50 years to overturn this? That is ridiculous. And the reality is that I get a lot of crap whenever it comes to voting season, because I'm a progressive and I don't vote for Republicans, even whenever it comes to abortion. And this is what I tell them over and over and over again. Just because they run on the pro-life label and they talk a big game about getting rid of abortion, in the last 5 years is whenever we've actually seen real action taken on this issue whenever it comes to legislature. So why would I continue pouring my support into a party that continues to run on getting rid of abortion but does nothing about it in between elections? And the reality is that abortion supporting politicians are out here actually doing the legwork.
All righty. Somebody online, who do you think wants it more?
So, I mean, what we really need to talk about is who is the group of people that is wanting this at this point. We need to kind of ask, like, how much do each of these groups want what they want? I feel like a majority of the pro-life individuals fall into a number of different particular groups, and they want it for their particular reasons. I personally tend to lean toward the libertarian ideology a little bit more. I like the government to leave me the heck alone. And I know that a majority of people on the left start talking about women's bodily autonomy. And honestly, if you guys are familiar at all with the political compass, I feel like I just stole 3/4 of it from you guys. And I don't know how the other 25% is going to be able to say that we want it more when we got more guys than you.
You know, I can understand what you're saying there, but like to me, it's almost kind of a matter of passion and energy. Like, which, like, because like I understand what Kay's saying entirely, but also like I've been to some very evangelical churches, and the energy and the passion to get this decision, this is big. Like, trust me, the evangelicals are, well, maybe not popping champagne tonight, but popping their grape juice this evening. But Tiberius, in your opinion, who wants the? And I think he just kind of gave us all a little middle finger there.
I do kind of have to comment on that a little bit, K.O.E.
No,
I mean, it doesn't matter how bad my crazy uncle wants me to want it. I'm not going to want it for him. But go ahead, Tiberius.
Yeah, no, like my sinuses are depressurizing because the weather here can't figure out what the hell it wants to be.
Yeah.
It sucks right now. But anyway, long story short, who wants it more? I'm going to put it into two different categories. When it comes to actual pure fervor, like the right has this, the pro-lifers have this in the bag as part of pure fervor. But when it comes to the numbers, the left has this by sheer number or by sheer weight. They have their passionate ones, but the problem is like the people who are most passionate about being pro-choice make most people want to puke. Because there is a level where a lot of folks who are like kind of like in the middle here throw the fetus in the bin and they just like roll their eyes into the back of their head and start screaming, you know, like fucking repent. There is a level that is absolutely the case. I don't think anyone looks at outside of like decently far left people. Look at the pro-life committee and go, all right, yeah, these people are moral scum and abominable. There are people that frame it as you're anti-woman and you don't believe in women having choice. But I think almost any calculus that you swipe at this, unless your moral axioms just kind of don't exist, people put some moral weight into the possibility of the child, whether you call it a fetus or a clump of cells, all the way up to is a person. That whole gambit there is moral weight. And basically in a long shell is that I think the fervor definitely hits the right, but there is a lot of people that have some weird ideas when it comes to American policy. Like we're a socially conservative, economically liberal nation, but there's a few issues that we kind of go the inverse of that. And this is one of them. A lot of people love the libertarian mantra when it comes to abortion. I don't know why. It's kind of strange, but it's weird. Like if push comes to shove, this is one thing that by opinion polls, people openly and overwhelmingly, and I'm talking 70% plus support, give them at least some choice. Do not blockade this out. And I'll end with that.
Fascinating. So, D,
I think that in sheer terms of old school, who wants it more, with taking technology out of it, I think the pro-lifers definitely have a more traditional presence in who wants it more. Now, if you want to talk social media, it's not even close. The pro-choicers have completely overtaken all the social media platforms with how badly they want it. So I think it's just different styles in this regard. But yeah, I would lean that the pro-choice crowd definitely has the bigger voice, and especially right now, because you're going to see that. And you're going to see it on the news, and you're going to see it in the coming weeks, how bad they absolutely do want. And of course, the pro-lifers are going to push back, the traditional ones anyway. But the reach that the pro-choice crowd has online, I think that they're probably going to have a much easier time making their opinions known. So that's kind of where I'm leaning with that. Project, I want the panel to drink more. Well, I will accommodate you real quick because Chicken did tell me that the stars did not work because Phil was going to have to take a gin shot. And unfortunately, that's just not going to happen. So I will accommodate you.
The heavens have smiled upon me. Ziggy zoggy, oi. And somebody, you wanted to get in on this.
There you go.
Yeah, so I wanted to kind of maybe reframe this question from who wants it more to maybe who is more afraid of this whole thing. And I think that people on the left have a particular fear. And again, we talked about bodily autonomy and attack on women and all these things that they're afraid of. And the fear is going to be what motivates them to vote. And I feel like on the right, we have a different type of fear, and we have a fear of things that are happening and things that might be happening and what people's intentions are and what people are doing. And again, maybe the question of who is more afraid or what exactly are they afraid of. For example, I've had conversations with a number of pro-life people that have told me all of these terrible, horrifying things. And then when we've looked into these things a little bit deeper together, we found out that, well, maybe this is a little bit of a mixed characterization of how terrible these situations might be. And not to say that it changed their opinion of them, but it assuaged some of their fears, so to speak.
You know, that is a very interesting way of putting it. And in further panels going forward, I'm going to add that to my who wants it more. I'm also going to add who has more fear, because to me, I think unequivocally the fear is way greater on the left. And to be frank, as much as I hate to say, this is, folks, you might not like this, but it is very true. Fear is a far greater motivator than love. Okay, it just is. We cannot like that about human nature, but it just fucking is. If you go, I would love if you went to go do that versus go fucking do that. Like, it's two entirely different things. That's a great motivator. But one thing to keep in mind.
I gotta pop this comment up from Amanda because I could tell Kay's skin crawled when she saw it. So I did want to give Kay a chance to respond to this. Amanda chimes in. You can never get rid of abortions. Making it illegal just makes it more dangerous for the poor, and same accessibility to the rich. So we, the pro-choice, stay more vocal. And then she followed it up with, had this conversation with a French journalist on Sunday. They loved my view of abortion as recycling. If life does begin at conception, sending back around to go to a person who wants it, a better option than it's staying with someone not wanting it. Kay, go ahead.
I'm gonna go
I know
throw
you
up.
Yeah, bring a bag.
This is not at all an uncommon argument. It's actually probably one of what I would consider the default arguments, especially in the last few years, with there being a very, very high chance that Roe was going to go back to the court. It's one of the fear-mongering tactics that a lot of abortion supporters use, because quite frankly, that is all that they have left in their arsenal at this point. They have to scare people into supporting abortion, because otherwise they are going to lose support, and they know this. And this goes back all the way back to the 50s and 60s, whenever the abortion industry was first starting out. It's just, you just saturate the ground with so much misinformation that by the time pro-lifers get a hold of somebody, they have no idea which way is up and which way is down. They do not believe anything that we tell them, even if we give them unbiased sources. And people are legitimately scared. And that, as a pro-life activist, that makes me so upset for people that have been terrified into supporting something that they otherwise would not support if they did not have this fear. The reality is that abortion bans do bring down abortion rates. Somewhere between 14 and 20%, just banning abortion by itself does bring abortion rates down. Now, there are other things that we do need to be doing. You know, access to contraceptives brings abortion rates down. Access to good healthcare brings abortion rates down. Access to, free or low-cost childcare brings abortion rates down. And these are things that we can discuss as pro-lifers. These are conversations that we do have. And this kind of circles back to what we were talking about who wants it more, and my argument that pro-lifers do not want it as much as pro-choicers do, because the reality is there's so much that pro-life legislators could do right now that completely destroys the narrative of why abortions need to be legal in this country. And not only are they not doing that, they actively fight against it. And that is why, at the end of the day, pro-choicers do win out in the argument, because they do have a solid logical inconsistency whenever it comes to pro-life legislators. They say that they care about life, but the reason why we get called pro-birth sometimes is because of politicians sitting in office right now that claim to be pro-life but are doing absolutely nothing to stop abortions from happening.
You raise an excellent point there, but it's something that I've actually had to address a couple of times on a few different panels in the last few days. Is you get this argument, and it's some shape, form, or figure of, well, you might be pro-life, but what about if the child has an inadequate access to resource across their life? What about that, huh? And to me, it's like, I bet there's quite a few people within the sound of my voice that could raise their hand and say they had a very inadequate access to resource while they were growing up. And to me, I always say, what roll of the dice would you rather take? Have no chance at all, or at least have a chance? And so that's the way I always look at that, because because to me, like, I always find it a little cute when
we'll get into that a little deeper, but Maria Torres Perez has Roe v. Wade is not about prohibiting abortion. It's about leaving the decision to the states. Very true. That's one of the very common misconceptions. But like to me, it's also kind of like, I mean, you're absolutely correct. But I think, oh, sorry, Mariana. Sorry. Hang on. I did not don the glasses of extreme. Yes. Well, now I just feel foolish. Well, thank you for being here. But yes, you are absolutely correct that it is not actually prohibiting abortion, but it's kind of like when you say printing money. Like, yes, there's a lot of instances where the government will like type into existence new currency that didn't exist before, and technically they didn't print it. But when you say printing money, that's kind of the common parlance. And I think Roe v. Wade's and you're absolutely correct. You are like, your interpretation is correct. It's just kind of taken on this common parlance, I've noticed. Roe, and it's so I don't know, but you're correct there. But like you said, it's sometimes when a word kind of encapsulates an idea. Now it's kind of like uh, I always use like one of the great examples of a complicated word that encapsulates so much data is Christmas. It has so much encapsulated there that it doesn't even sometimes mean what it originally means. Thank you. My deepest apologies, miss. But yeah, you're absolutely correct with your analysis. It's just one of those instances where sometimes the common parlance just kind of over floods you. It's like, gee, okay, but yeah, it's not about that restriction. But I want to see. I think I make one more pretty neat point here that I was very fond of. Very ardent pro-choice people, they're just very flippant with, well, this person shouldn't even live, or this person should, or they shouldn't. Well, once you make it personal, then, well, what roll of the dice would you rather take? Would you rather have no chance at all, or would you rather at least try to have a chance? And so that's the way I've always looked at that one. And it actually, funny enough, on the Prime panel, when I dropped that one, it was actually a mic drop moment. Everybody just kind of shut up for a second. It's like, wow, I've never done a mic drop in an abortion debate. That's something.
Well,
but
if I can
now,
pick it up real quick from there, if you don't mind.
Give me just 20 more seconds here. It's just one last thing I wanted to say. But Kay, here, like the folks that are pro-life, we never thought we would get here. Honestly, like this day, I never like I kind of feel like we're a dog that's catching the car. And we're like, wow, holy shit, we're actually here. What the fuck? And and so it's really something. Somebody take it away.
Yeah. So, Kay, I did want to push back a little bit. I was 100% like behind you with everything that you said in that thing, except for the first one. I think that when we ban abortions, we only like see reduced like legal and safe abortions or reported abortions. Like, I think that back in the old days, pre-Roe v. Wade, there was a lot of dangerous things going on, and I'm really afraid that we may potentially see more dangerous things occurring in the future. I'm worried about the way that those things can play out. So again, I am in favor of all of the plans that you're saying, and those do all lead to less of these bad situations, because people, typically speaking, want to have children. They choose not to have children because they feel they don't have the resources. They feel like it would damage their ability to get to a place in their life where they could raise children in the way that they want to be able to raise children. And so, like, we need to enable people to finish their education, to get into their careers, and then to be able to raise children once they have the resources to be able to do this properly. I think that if you go into like our federal prison system and you ask these people, hey, how is your relationship with your parents? Most of these people would tell you things like, my parents never really wanted me. My dad wasn't around a whole lot. I didn't know either one of my parents. I was in the system my entire life. Nobody really wanted me. Nobody really loved me. And I think that when you have someone that is going to have a child that is not extremely enthusiastic and passion beyond all belief and extremely excited to bring this life into the world and devote all of their time and energy into turning this into the best possible human being that they can, oftentimes we see people in really bad situations. And I wouldn't ever want to say, well, these people shouldn't have a chance and these people should have a chance. But what I am saying is we need to make sure that we are giving everybody the best possible chance that we can. And I don't want to sound too frickin' red hat and change my frickin' thing to the one with the star on the top, because goddamn, I love America and I love the way that our markets work. But we do need to make sure that there's a way that the common man in this country has enough capability, enough resources to be able to raise a family and get their children to school and put food in their belly and make sure that they're not out on the street doing terrible things because they can afford childcare and after school programs and all those wonderful things that made all of us so smart, or at least those of us that could afford such things. I wish I would have been able to go. Maybe I wouldn't have been such a dummy.
And I totally hear what you're saying. And like, that is a very, very real concern. And, whenever I said earlier that, I don't think that either side is really handling this news very well. Like, I'm going to call out my side first. Roe v. Wade we get told that Roe v. Wade is being overturned, and we have pro-lifers, dancing in front of the Supreme Court about how, they're dancing on the grave of Roe v. Wade, while some people are genuinely scared that they're going to, because of pre-existing health conditions or whatever, that they're going to get pregnant unintentionally and end up dying because they don't have access to care that they need. There's just so much fear. And one of those fears is that, you're not banning abortions, you're just banning access to safe abortions. And this actually stems from a deceitful lie that actually stems from the original Roe case, that, the whole coat hanger thing, that overwhelmingly abortions that happened before they were legal were happening. They were self-induced. They were quote unquote back alley. But the reality is that majority of illegal abortions that took place prior to Roe were actually done by medical professionals. And there was actually no significant decrease in the number of women that were dying from illegal abortions after Roe was passed. And so whenever we're talking about illegal abortions and back alley abortions and the danger of abortion, if you want to make a comparison, we should talk about the women that have died during legal abortions, about clinics that are not passing, safety regulations, but are still being allowed to perform abortions on women, even though they are not up to safety codes in their state. These are things that we've seen over and over and over again. And the reality is that the abortion industrial complex does not care whether or not they kill women, whether it's legally or illegally. So, and at the end of the day, abortion ends in the death of a human being 100% of the time. And sometimes the reality is that it ends in the death of two human beings. And
it's
so
not a human being yet. And you can't actually
it is human
tell me
DNA.
that when we tell someone, hey, this is going to be a doctor that's doing it, but they're going to do it at their house because they can't actually take you into the hospital and use all of the drugs and the instruments and the sterilized things, that it's going to be just as safe because it's still a doctor that's doing it. Like, again, and I don't mean to be outrageous and say it's not this thing. Here. Give me a moment please, K.O.E. Again, you can't tell me that someone, like, I'm going to take you out of, whenever we do a medical procedure, we put them in the best possible situation that we can. We get them as much light as we can. We make sure that we sterilize absolutely everything, even if it technically doesn't matter. This is the way that we try to do things so that we can try to preserve life to the best degree that we possibly can. And every time we reduce one of these precautions that we're taking to ensure that we're preserving life, we're increasing the risk to these people. So again, by saying that these people can't have access to the facilities where these things should be done, if they were regulated with the proper oversight that is supposed to happen in these situations, that, they're going to be just as safe because the doctor is still the same doctor. There's all of these other pieces of the infrastructure that are missing that make it so that this is
I've
safe.
got some comments here I got to address. I had to take a moment because there were some folks that were here in the middle for a minute, had to, tell them good evening and all that good stuff. But we got some comments here that need some addressing. Amanda, how we doing? Long time. And actually, I think this is your first time commenting here on the K.O.E. Nation, but you're doing it through Big Buckin' Empire on Facebook. Be sure to check them out. Question for Tony G. Your snap today, screenshot of Twitter quote. Serious? Because I've literally heard people say, well, then they shouldn't have had sex for an unwanted pregnancy. Thoughts, Tony? Amanda, if you want to call a fetus a human being, then get into the discussion of when life begins. That's a full-on debate in and of itself. Tony G, your screenshot of Twitter or Snap. Now, Amanda, I actually want to talk to you about this because we got into that last night about when life begins. Because if you've ever heard of the scientific experiment Schrodinger's cat, where Dr. Schrodinger puts a cat in a box that you can't hear, see into, and then subjects that box to very high levels of radiation. And eventually the cat gets up to 300 times the amount of radiation that it would need to kill the cat. You don't know exactly when the cat's dead, but you know at one point the cat's dead. And that's kind of, I joke that when it comes to pregnancy, we're playing Schrodinger's life, where does the life actually begin? Where does it start? And like, I've always put that, even your most ardent pro-life person will start to get I'm watching Big Bang Theory in the background. I know Schrodinger's cat. And so yeah, like it, and that's kind of what I joke. It's Schrodinger's life. But even your most ardent pro-life person would probably not charge somebody with murder for taking a Plan B pill. And even your most ardent like antinatalist who will just like, they believe zero population is probably going to get a little queasy at the idea of aborting a baby the day before it's due. So now, okay, there's a couple of psychos that don't think that, but like I think, and so somewhere in there lies the truth. And we're always now, if you think if it's just a matter of viability, then that's just a matter of medical technology. If we can get to the point where to remove a baby from the uterus is as easy as a blood draw, if we can get to that point, and even at the mere multicellular level, we can either transfer or save the DNA for later for whatever purposes, then the ethics kind of change, don't they? I mean, if it's just a matter of viability, then the entire ethics of it does shift to some degree. Because I know this is going to sound like crazy, but this is also kind of where my mind goes. In an audiobook I read, C.M. Koseman's All Tomorrows, it's impossible for us to send people to the different varying stars throughout the galaxy. So what they did was basically they would put basically just barely fertilized eggs into ships, freeze them hard, fire them off into different parts of the galaxy going about 70% the speed of light, land there, and then grow the humans when they got to the planet. And so to me, like, it's like, okay, when you can get to that point, then yeah, like why not just use that? Like that's what you use to seed the stars at that point. And so I know that sounds crazy, but that's not that far off. Amanda goes, okay, Plan B is a thing. Who the hell is doing an abortion the day before delivery unless it's life threat? You know, it's weird, Amanda. I was on a panel and the guy's name was Crimson, and I'll never forget it because just the flippancy in which he was talking was just to this day haunts me. And he was talking about like, no, even up to the very minute, baby's crowning, mother, if it's mother bodily autonomy, 100%. Like, mother, fuck, that is ghoulish. That is monstrous. And so, like, unfortunately, that's how we got here. We got here because the Democrats were pushing for what, in essence, amounts to infanticide. Like I don't know what actually has. I don't know, like babies crowning and you're okay with like that. I don't know. I don't have another word for that. And so that's why we got here. If it was just a matter of like Plan B and such, we would not be here. If it was a matter of life threatening for the mother, we would not be here. It was literally the governor of Virginia saying, and you can look up the quote. It's fucking ghoulish. It's fucking monstrous. Where he says, even after the baby's been delivered, the mother and the doctor can still have a discussion on what to do. I mean, that's what got us here. And I really now the thing is, I keep telling conservatives, we're like the dog catching the car. I hope we know what to do with it when we get it, because this is going to be quite interesting. But like, I think there's enough folks on the right that they just don't care. They don't care if it costs them the midterms. They don't care. This is a moral decision as far as they're concerned. Tony G, pregnancy actually is a consequence of sex, even with contraceptives. It's not a punishment. It's nature's intended outcome. Tony G, also not a lifelong consequence. Tony G, unless you want it. Well, hopefully not a lifelong consequence. I mean, hopefully you kick the little kid out when they're 18 and you can, like, all right, Have fun, make your way in this world. Like, you know what I mean? Not kick them out, but like, hopefully they're wanting to move out when they're 18. That's always every parent's worst nightmare, when your children move back in and start reproducing. Tony, correct. Generally 9 months or so. Where are we leaving the personal responsibility? You raise an excellent point. Once again, I know, Amanda, I know it's a lifelong thing, but it's also, you hope that they can at least sort of kind of make their own way. Like I said, every parent's worst nightmare is their children to move back in and start reproducing. And I've talked to my dogs, like, just, okay, don't make me a grandparent in my 30s. Copacetic. That's actually my advice to all children. Don't make your parents grandparents in their 30s. Just don't do that, and you'll be good. That, like, everything will get along quite well. Tony G, you can put the child up for adoption instead of paying to have some vacuum the limbs off it after scrambling the brain. Tony G. Now, just like on our reviews, Tony is not in the distiller's pocket, and he will tell you what he is thinking. Here on Facebook and on Twitch, he will also tell you what he is thinking, folks. But yeah, that's, God, like I said, that's what got us here. It's certainly fucking supposed to be. Oh boy. Yeah, being a parent's a lifelong job. Tony goes, it's certainly fucking supposed to be. Yes. But like I always joke, like, you kind of hope they can make it. It's like, there's a great Greg Giraldo joke. Great Greg Giraldo joke. God rest his soul. Where he goes, my son the other day, he comes up to me and goes, because the terrorists had just attacked. And he goes, Daddy, why do the bad men hate us? Why do they hate us, Daddy? Why do the bad men hate us? And it brought a tear to my eye. Because he's 19. Jesus Christ, man. I don't know. Maybe pick up a newspaper, form some opinions of your own, dummy. Tony G goes, but you can always give it away if you don't want to be responsible for it. Death sentence should be last resort. Yeah, adoption's a great thing. And, God bless people who do adopt children. It's, that's the way some people want to go about it. So, hey, God bless it. That's always kind of a tragedy, and I don't know if I say it in this panel, but I did say at one point on a couple other panels is I think it was C.S. Lewis who said, I will celebrate the death of no man because I am part of mankind. And so therefore I am also in some way reduced by their passing. And I think, like, if, like I said, the baby, the day before it's due, I think we have all been reduced in some way, if that's allowed to just happen. Tony G, but you can also give it, I already read that one. Like people that shoot their dogs because they don't want it anymore, at least turn it loose and give it a fucking chance. I'll give you that. Just give it let it loose. Like, I'll never forget one time I saw, it was clearly a fighting pit bull, clearly a fighting dog. It had too many wounds on its face, and it came up because the night before I'd left a big old pile of dog food for my two little dogs, and then I went and talked to my mom for a while, and then about 15 minutes later, and apparently that big old pit just came and just gobbled up that whole pile in like 3 bites because it was the only square meal it had a leg hanging. It was a fighting dog. Came the next day, I said, down boy. I mean, it was a big old pit. Then it just went on down the road. And then, because I knew the neighbors were obsessive dog people. They had all the dog bath, the dog everything, the dog. So just like, okay, if he can make his way down the road, he's fucking more than cherry. And that fighting pit bull ended up, and me and my mom were watching through the window. There they are. Come on. It was actually kind of funny to watch. And, the dog, because the thing is, it was very nice to people, super aggressive to dogs. Like, looked at my dogs like, you want to go, punk? Like, yep, that's a fighter. Amanda, Tony G, adoption is an amazing option. Giving a child to a couple who want it and love it. Downside is those who don't get adopted run through the system, have mental issues when it could have been avoided, which is worse. I'm betting the kid would choose life if it had the, which is kind of the argument I've been making is like, well, what roll of the dice would you rather take? honest question, not being facetious. Because whenever people make this argument of like, well, what about after the kid's born, you don't provide every single thing? Well, there's a lot of people that can say that they had a less than adequate access to resource when they were growing up. And that's not a good reason to not let them live just because they don't have like, to me, that's a very like Bill Gates let them eat cake kind of way of looking at the world. Like whenever like the Bill Gates of the world kind of drop that kind of shit. Amanda Tripp, mercy kill is usually reserved for someone suffering, not for someone who was too lazy to buy plan. Oh man, too lazy to buy plan B, according to Tony G. Woo! Tony's bringing the fire tonight over on Facebook, folks. I mean, I think you should probably go to Big Buckin' Empire on Facebook and check out this fucking fireballs being thrown between Manda and Tony G here, Big Buckin' Empire and the K.O.E. Nation on YouTube and Twitch, folks. Like, yes, this is where you need to be for the hot topics of the day, and this is one of them. This is pretty much the topic du jour of our time. I mean, can anybody really give me something else? And now I just want to hear a little bit more of what somebody had to say in his counter to moi.
And again, I don't mean to insinuate that like an unborn
But before we get there, Amanda's got one more comment. You know, this can be debated till the end of time, but my bottom line is fucking keep your beliefs out of my uterus. Not too much to ask. Amanda L. Trips on, according to Amanda, folks. Let me know if you agree. Let me know if you disagree. I kind of want to hear that. Like, now, this is going to be the topic of our time. Like, to be honest, this is going to be a decision we're going to talk about to our grandkids about. When they ask about the Supreme Court, this is going to be the big one. This is going to be one of the biggest Supreme Court decisions ever if it goes down the way it might be going down. And what's weird is the day before is a huge Second Amendment decision that I've been waiting 16 years for. And it's going to be like, no one's even going to talk about it. Like, so what the fuck? So like the day before, huge Second Amendment victory, next day Roe v. Wade, which you never thought that would be the case. We're one of the biggest Second Amendment decisions in American history. Isn't even what anybody's talking about in regards to the Supreme Court, because this is like this is going to change a lot. Like, I don't know everything it's going to change, but it's going to change a lot.
Child isn't a baby, but there is like a process that occurs, because I don't mean to get too vulgar on your show here, KOE, but I got a trash can over here that might be full of a bunch of babies, and I swear to God, I'm not a freaking murderer.
Uh-oh, naughty. But there is a distinction there, I would have to say. But first of all, somebody, you also kind of described an old doctor in our hometown that like he passed away many years ago, but yeah, you just go to his garage and he'd just stitch you up, and he would even forget to send you a bill. And God bless him too.
When I was poor, I used to go to the veterinarian to get a bunch of my medical treatment and get my teeth pulled and whatnot, because he was so much cheaper than going to like the clinic down the street, because you know there's no free clinics.
There used to be charity hospitals run by the Catholic Church, but those got regulated out of existence. So it is what it is. But so in this regard, I both sides have very strong arguments, but it is one of those things. Like, the problem that we have here is what I like to call Schrodinger's life. And if you don't know what the experiment of Schrodinger's cat is, it's Dr. Schrodinger basically said, if you put a cat into a box and you can't see the cat or hear it, and you keep exposing it to greater and greater levels of radiation, you don't know when's the exact moment the cat died. But you know, once you got to like 10 times the level of radiation, you know the cat's dead. But you don't know.
Tell us how you really feel.
Game of Schrodinger's life.
I think you're holding back there too much.
Really did, because we don't have an objective measure. We just don't. We have what our own personal morals, our own ethic.
Hey there, Justin, Chris. We're talking about the super happy, easygoing topic of Roe v. Wade. I'm going over one of the greatest episodes in the history of Big Buckin' Empire. The last one we did with KayFellowz, Tyberius D, somebody online. You might hear differently, but no. This is one of the greatest ones of all time. Truly, like, I'm going to say, okay, top 10 is being a little too modest. I'm going to say probably top 3. Yes, I'm going to go ahead and go there. Yes, probably one of the top 3, and the like this episode here, one of the best, obviously. Tony is having a war of words with Amanda, and I'm just like, yeah, like I gotta pick my jaw the fuck back up because boy howdy. So if you want to get in on this war of words, right after you subscribe to K.O.E Nation on YouTube, head on over to Big Bucket Empire on Facebook and become a fucking member, okay? Because holy fucking shitballs, this is the kind of stuff that goes down fucking weekly, daily. People throw fucking grenades, and you could just, in a video game, metaphorically, of course, they throw fucking grenades, and you just watch like, because yeah, like Tony, I'm just like, oh God, I'm not even gonna read the last sentence, but like, good Lord, like, yeah, that is like, well done, T. Well done. So this might be final broadcast, and I don't know, one of a couple platforms. Who knows? We'll find out. But let's be frank. When I go into, well, okay, she said it herself. So now I can get into it. Tony goes, nobody wants to put anything in your uterus, but if you let someone in use fucking contraception, if you're not spayed or neutered. I know you are, so you're fighting this issue is kind of over. Hell, I can understand why folks would still advocate. Like I've seen men that advocate for Roe v. Wade. So now Tony's getting a little spicy here, getting a little saucy. Amanda goes, Tony, you know I'm neutered, shouldn't be an issue. I'm one of half the population who wants your penis out of my body decisions. No uterus, no opinion. Okay. Now, Amanda, unfortunately, in 2022, no uterus, no opinion is a fucking controversial statement in and of itself on Twitch. But like that's just one of that's Amanda's opinion there, folks. But you know, to me, I think like no, this is something that affects all of us. This is the reproductive cycle of the human species. So we're all in on this, whether we like it or not, which is why this is so visceral. That's the oh boy, Tony, your ability to conceive has been put on pause. So your option and you so your opinion is moot now. I don't know about all that. And you couldn't conceive without a penis. So sorry, penis opinions are going to happen. Can't have it, but penis opinions. Well, you know, there's never a shortage of penis opinions in this life. I think the ladies in the audience would. That's actually we should change mansplaining to penis opinions. I like that way better. And I think it actually kind of like it would just be like a little disarming for men rather than them being like putting up barriers like mansplaining. Like, now enough of your penis opinion. Well, yeah, they're kind of. Hey, wait a minute. Like, yeah, so like that. I think we're doing that now. It's a penis opinion. It's no longer mansplaining. It's penis opinion. We invented something here, folks. We did. Let's all join hands. We've all grown. So yeah, this is getting a little spicy tonight. Let's see what our own fuzzy let's see how far we can get. Sort of, good Lord Almighty, because like it's the problem with science is even if you're a scientist in that area, you're probably not very good at persuading people. And if you're not a scientist in that area, can you really say you're capable of reading the data? And so we're all kind of taking a fuzzy reading of what we think the science is, mixed with our ethics and our morals, and then we say, here. This is where I put it, because even your most ardent pro-life person would get a little queasy or would really not like the idea of charging someone with murder with taking a morning after pill. And even your most ardent, like pro-choice antinatalist probably gets a little queasy at the idea of aborting a baby the day before it's due. Like, even if they say here on a debate, like, totally, I would do this. I think when the rubber meets the road, they would get a little fucking queasy at that idea. So somewhere in the middle there is Schrodinger's life.
I want to get in on this for a minute because I've talked about this before a lot, and this is where I like to punch on people.
Well, before Ty punches on people, I've got a couple of more comments here. Mariana, again, forget the legal or even the moral side. Why don't we speak about individual responsibility? 99% of people who ask for an abortion got pregnant because they decided to have unsafe sex. I mean, that is very much a part of it. I mean, like, there's so much that, oh, baby, just got that new job at the factory. Everything's looking up. Just got her new apartment. Let's fuck without a rubber one time just to celebrate. And then suddenly, wait, what? Oh no! Like, yeah, there are ways that happens. Like, yeah, whenever we got couples around here that have too many kids, I do kind of, the joke is, you do know how that happens, right? Right. Do we need to have a talk about so yeah, there is like a aspect of personal responsibility if you have the capacity for informed consent. I mean, you're absolutely correct there, Mariana. So like I said, if we get to greater medical technology where the point of viability becomes longer and longer and longer, I think the entire, not only ethics and even responsibility, like everything shifts when we can get to greater medical technology. Basically, I think that's when a lot of big pennies, the penny drops, if you will. Amanda, Phil, unless you go through 9 months of growing a person, taking that person out of your body, you have less of a say than the person doing that work. You know, you raise an excellent point. That's kind of why I brought Kay onto this panel, because she's been doing pro-life activism for like 9 years. And I even kind of joked at the beginning of this, well, thank you, Kay, for coming here. We needed your expertise to also be kind of a combo breaker in this little sausage fest. Because like I remembered one of the Roe v. Wade panels I was on, it was all dudes. Now, granted, political yelling is kind of a dude thing, but I was like, it's all dudes. Can we get somebody that like knows what they're talking about on this, has done it for a while? And then so Tony reached out to Kay. Awesome. But yeah, like I'm gonna take like, yes, I think my vote is more like the House of Representatives, and women's votes are more like the Senate. if that makes any sense. Like political wonks and political nerds are laughing their ass off right now. But that's how I would put it, because we're all part of humanity. Tony G, and if you expect the dude with the dick to pay for it, if you don't kill it, he gets to have a say on whether or not you scramble. Boy, Tony, you just on fire tonight. So I got to give you that. So it's let's see. Tony G, when your penis grows 40 pounds in 9 months, then shove something out of it, then you can have it your way. Penis grow 40 pounds in 9 months. There's got to be a way. There's got to be a way. Like Tony G, sounds like a slow week for my penis. Well done. Well done. Got to give you that one. Amanda. Yes, Mariana. The entire conversation would be reduced if we can educate instead of regulate. Yes, because like if we did have like a much greater culture of personal responsibility, there'd be a lot less of this. Now there's a myriad of reasons as to why that's disintegrated over time, because that's one of the few things that, like, when you look back to like Mad Men era, like that's one of the few things that you could really say was actually something good that we've lost over that time, is that culture of implicit respect and just accountability, like personal responsibility. Like, I want to properly represent myself. Like today, I'm not even shaved, okay? Or I haven't shaved for a couple of days because it's planting season. I'm a farmer. And in those days, you wouldn't dream of stepping out your front door without clearing up your face of any facial hair. But yeah, that's just something that's significantly shifted. And Tony goes, precisely, Mariana, which, yeah, I gotta give Mariana some credit. I mean, you're putting good arguments for your perspective. I have to give you credit there, if you'll excuse me.
very
need to find a
particularly.
tissue.
Number one, this is a moral conversation. It is not objective. It is moral. Okay, and this gets into like where people put their moral weights and whatnot.
No, it's
And we have
not,
to be
Tiberius.
honest
I
with
need to
two
push
things.
back
Number
on
one,
this.
moral conversations do not have an objective truth to them unless you're an immoral objectivist, in which case, like, we can have that conversation, but you're not going to agree with anybody else in the room. So,
Well, I didn't have a chance to push back on this when Ty was on the panel, but I have to. When he's saying this is not an objective conversation. Yeah, it is. Life and death are objective things, and that is what we are discussing here. Being alive, being dead, that is objective.
I don't know how you have that point. On the other side of that, when you get done with admitting that it's a moral conversation, there's a level where somebody's going to leave the room pissed off. Then you actually have to have the ability to have that moral conversation. And guys, the average American populace is not equipped for this conversation, because it's one thing where you're like, hey, look, this is how I was raised. This is what I was instructed. This is what I am. And there's a lot of people on both sides of this, whether they're just Christian, they were told consistently throughout life that abortion is a moral wrong and it's evil and it's an express ticket to hell, or the other side where it's like, how dare you take away the freedom and opportunity of a woman to kill her own child? What is wrong with you? You can't do that. I'm being a little hyperbolic for both sides because I think everyone's a little stupid. But when it comes down to it, I'm going to be completely honest, though. This is a problem in the regards that people are ignorant, because when you actually have to test out your moral compass and you have to think about it, it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of energy, mental, emotional energy, to sift through one's morality and be like, why is this bad? Besides, somebody told me so. Like, can you be okay with murder in any kind of circumstance? At what point does it become self-defense versus a naked aggression? That kind of thing. People don't think about this. They don't spend their time, their energy, their wherewithal to do this. And I'm not saying like that's a bad thing in some regards, but in this case, it might be. If you're not doing that, you're not equipped for this conversation. Quite honestly, stay the fuck out of it.
I did want to double back real quick to something that hidden in Amanda's really, really twisted logic, if I can find it. Here it is. Not all we have. How about my body, my choice? End of conversation. If I wanted the government in my uterus, I'd select the senator. I don't pass you, Amanda. But yeah, that's the thing about this conversation, is that it is super, super damn gross that the government gets to be involved, and not just the government, but really anybody gets to be involved in telling somebody what they can or cannot do with their own body, especially in a day and age where people are encouraged to do whatever the fuck they want with their own body. And there was a time in my life where I was mostly just pro-choice because I just didn't want to get involved in the conversation, and it just didn't involve me at that time. But now, after, getting another 10 years of my life, having kids, I still not going to be comfortable telling somebody what else to do, but I would definitely encourage them what to do. I'm not going to verbatim turn my back on them, whatever they decide, but I would definitely encourage them not to seek out an abortion, because once you've had kids, it changes everything about you, the way you see the world. And I'm somebody who, one time, I was on the chopping block. My mom didn't want me. Luckily, I was adopted by my grandmother. So, even then, I was like, well, it's really not my place to tell anybody to do anything. But, the stigmatization, like Kay was saying originally, the really bad propaganda, the way they made it sound like it was the same way that the fear mongering of criminalizing weed, right? They really made it sound a lot more dramatic than it was in terms of, oh, these back LA abortions, they're running rampant through the city. No, it wasn't that bad. But now that we have come so far in advancement in medical procedure, it's still bad in certain areas. And like some of the people in the chat were saying, Chicken and Lynn were talking about how crack houses are probably more sterile than some abortion clinics. And then Chicken did mention, after Amanda chimed in again, our procedures is common.
I just wanted to, it was something that was just coming to me while I was watching this panel. Like Tony, because Tony's my best friend in this life, and I don't it's a area I don't touch on much because I can tell it's a sore subject. But like when he said that about like how he was on the chopping block and how like really just kind of put me back in my chair for a second. I couldn't really react to it because I realized like, my God, I mean, if the pro-choice people had gotten through to Tony's mother, I wouldn't have my best friend right now. Yeah, like I'm sorry, that's a really like jarring thought. I don't know how else to put that. That was like, damn. Because yeah, situation was probably pretty rough, was probably pretty dire, probably did look like, oh goodness, what kind of life? I mean, what lack of resources? I mean, if that would have won the day with the people that she was listening to, I wouldn't have my best friend right now. Really, like, yeah, it's not very often I get kind of like put back in my chair here on the K.O.E Nation, but that one did it. Like, I don't know why that didn't register the night of the debate, but it did right now. I think it's just because my mind was just racing on so many, like, but yeah. Amanda, let's regulate the penis. 2 baby mamas, neutered, low income, 4 kids, neutered, no kids by 30, neutered. Phil, you wouldn't know any other life if his mom. Yeah, like, oh, and shit. Hey, Tony's still here. Sorry. Ask and you shall receive, I guess. I didn't know you were still here. Let's regulate the uterus too, then. Double down on preventing. Thanks. Love you too. But hey, love you, man. But yeah, that. Oh, that was jarring for me, man. Like, but yeah, that's much love, my man. But yeah, each one of you out there, give your kids an extra hug and kiss tonight. You know, if you got kids, give them an extra hug, hold them tight, because they are truly a treasure for you.
Is the pill, because the procedure standards are kept, and keep the pill. Let the women have their options to do what they want with their own body. And Chicken responds with, Amanda, you do know that this decision will just push it to the states. Half the country will still allow it. And I think that's probably the most important issue that people do not really realize in terms of this being overturned. This is not going to make abortions disappear overnight. That's not going to happen. And that's the reason we live in the United States of America, not just America, right? States should have the final say in terms of where you live and what you can do within the state lines. And I will turn it over to the rest of you.
I got 2 things I want to do real quick, because I'm out of time. I'm sorry, but
Go ahead.
Yeah, I wish I could stick around, but I've literally got to get to bed. It bothers me a lot, and I'm going to punch on both sides again because I can. 6 months ago, I was hearing pro-lifers saying "my body, my choice" when it came to vaccinations. And now I'm listening to the people that were like, "Hey, yo, you shouldn't have your bodily autonomy. Like you should be to getting your vaccine." No, police saying bodily autonomy. So it's just like, congratulations, you all brought it full circle. You're all fucking hypocrites.
Pick a lane, lefties.
No, like lefties and righties. Like I heard both sides completely flip on their arguments depending on this or on the political position. So, quite honestly, America, fuck all of y'all, get your shit together.
I love it.
Without further ado, I'm sorry, guys. I wish I could stick around. Like you guys are great folks, but
thanks for joining us, man. We appreciate
Tiberius, really quick. Go outside tomorrow, pick all the dandelions in your yard, boil them in water, and add the water to literally anything you drink. Your sinuses will be clear in like a couple hours. Trust.
I've heard of this, but yeah, fair enough. We'll give it a shot. Anyway, yeah, my name is Tyberius D. I do a lot of geopolitical content, but I also host the Mask Off podcast featuring Lord Phil K.O.E. among many, many, many others. And I also do some other nerd content. Whenever I'm done being in the fields consistently, I might do a review on the Doctor Strange movie that I watched today. So, you know, plenty of stuff out there, but without further ado, thank you all very much. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us, man. Appreciate it.
Pleasure meeting you, sir.
So if that is the one, the only Tiberius on the, yeah, you just click off the window. It's not like Discord. Yeah.
Tony,
Yes. So I figured with Tiberius jumping out be a good point to Amanda, state choice is not a resolution. We've seen that with legislation of marijuana. Fine, we can go that way, just slower process to the norm. Tony, and if we left it up to the Fed, we wouldn't have any legal states. So thanks for ruining your own point. Like, yeah, we're going to have kind of weird smatterings of state rights laws after this. Like, it's going to be the actual laboratory of democracy that our founders kind of intended, where you're going to have, like, and to me, these are going to be kind of the three, like, liberty barometers, if you will, and also, like, morality barometers. It's, where does your state stand on abortion? A woman's right to protect her reproductive health. Where does your state stand on that? Or is your state pro-life? Like me, I've often said I'm personally pro-life. But like when it comes to the legal standards, I kind of figures like, well, okay, I'm not going to inflict my perspective on others, but it looks like this is about to be the law of the land where now the states will decide. So now it's, which, you know, is not really legally inflicting. It's just kind of what we originally set up in Congress, was the idea of, unless it's kind of explicitly spelled out, the states kind of hash that out. And so we are going to come to a very interesting point where, okay, where's your state stand on abortion? Where does your state stand on marijuana? And then one that I personally do, constitutional carry. You're going to find most states are going to have 2 out of the 3, and that's it. Like, I don't know why. Call me crazy when it comes to abortion, constitutional carry, and legal weed. You're going to hate me when you see this. When you do the fucking charting, you're going to find that every state has just 2 out of the 3, because that's the way we are around here. Tony, and the states should always have the option on law. That's the whole idea behind the concept of state. You know, if you're like Governor Pete Ricketts here in Nebraska, you got to be like a little bit like, motherfucker, I'm leaving office right when the Supreme Court's about to make the governorship suddenly a really powerful thing again in America. Mother of fucker. Because, yeah, if you're a governor, if the Supreme Court, the Second Amendment goes, if the Second Amendment goes the way that we think it is, a state's ability to regulate the Second Amendment is going to go down like significantly. And Clarence Thomas, oh God, Lord, please, if I may, please, Lord, let Clarence Thomas write the majority opinion on this Second Amendment case. Oh, please, God, Lord. Oh, please, Lord. I mean, like, I will read that entire decision and his opinion here on air if Clarence Thomas writes the majority opinion for this Second Amendment legislation. Oh, my God. And nobody's going to care. I'm going to be, like, flipping out about this Second Amendment case, and the next day it's Roe v. Wade 2, Electric Boogaloo. Amanda, our policy is to divide the country on their opinions. What happened to United We Stand? Well, it's kind of one of the things with the Second Amendment case, which is why I think it's probably should go that way, because the Bill of Rights extends to all Americans. And so California shouldn't be able to pick and choose which amendments of the Bill of Rights it gets to, like whether free speech or now the Supreme Court's trying to really get to like what is a right. And so we're going to figure that out real quick. So I mean, there's so much jurisprudence that's built on Roe v. Wade and the idea of federal supremacy. And like, this is going to fucking, like, don't get me wrong. Like, to me, the consequences of moral decisions are irrelevant. If you believe this to be a moral decision, then the consequences are relevant. But still, like, the fallout's going to be very interesting to see because so much legal precedent is built on Roe v. Wade and the precedent that sets. And so, I mean,
there's going to be some lawyers are going to be making a lot of money in the next 5-6 years just trying to figure out ups from downs on this one. It's going to be interesting. Tony G, it's United States of America, not just America. Oh, I gotta give T that one. That's damn. Tony G, one state under God. God hates abortions. Checkmates. Well, Tony G, firing it off again. Wow. Tony G, what God is your opinion. Actually, no, Amanda, what God is a entity that is omniscient, omnipresent, and omnipotent. That's actually what God is. But anyways, like that's neither here nor there. But yeah, so this is gonna be a year you're gonna tell your grandkids about, folks. If they're like, let's say one of your kids or grandkids grows up to be a lawyer, this will be a year you fucking talk. They will have to talk about for fucking years. So, like, I'm kind of joking, like, all right, I'm getting all prepped up on the Supreme Court. I'm watching the first couple episodes of Suits. I'm getting all fucking. That's like, really what other research do you need to do? I mean, like, really. Tony G, you claim to be Catholic, right? That one, which is your opinion, or Zeus? If you, well, no. I'm just saying, like, from a logical progression standpoint, if you were going to break down what is, like, if some, like, this is how you, basically what I'm giving you is a falsifiable test, because at some point, I think it was C.S. Lewis said that any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. If you go to some ancient tribe with no technology and you bring a Bic lighter, you will suddenly become the god that makes fire come from his hands. But it's just a simple piece of technology. And we might someday have an alien that can come down and he can zip over there and he can zip over here and he can do all these incredible, amazing things. And he might even claim to be God. But it won't really be God. It'll just be a very powerful alien. And so the way you test that is if it's omniscient, omnipresent, and omnipotent. If it's all powerful, all seeing, and all knowing, all present. If it can do that, then you are in the presence of God. And so that's a way to kind of falsify when some very powerful alien comes down and tries to claim to be God. Because if you were a very powerful alien with very nice technology, be a real easy gig. Show up to some, mildly advanced planet, drop down, claim to be their deity, live a pretty happy life with them feeding you grapes and oiling your feet and such. So I wouldn't doubt that we would see that sort of thing happen. So that's how you falsify that. So that's Tony G, Catholics way back on mom's side. I will not disclose which deity I walk within. My God. Like, I was raised Catholic and spent a little time going to Protestant churches. That's about as adventurous as I got. I one time went to a couple Mennonite services. Like, yeah, that's as theologically adventurous. Like, I've been to every freaking evangelical Protestant church you can imagine. And like, I was a Catholic and I was raised that you brought God up and Catholic God says no abortions. Yeah, even Pope Francis, even fucking dope Francis himself, motherfucker. Like, I mean, I got a lot, like, okay, I'm a pretty capitalist motherfucker, but when dope Francis himself comes out and says water is a holy human right, I'm like, okay, I kind of fucking like this guy. What can I say? But like, I was raised Catholic and I was always told that the tongues were the devil. Like, if you heard somebody speak the tongues, that's the devil. And when I went to a Protestant church and they spoke the tongues, I was like, what's happening? Oh my God. Like, yeah, I'll admit I didn't quite like, I was kind of taken aback the first time. I was like, huh? Wait, great worry, danger. But yeah, Tony brings up a very good point that the Catholic Church very, very anti-abortion. Tony research Huguenots. Interesting. But yeah, once you start getting into theology, that's also a very different and interesting thing. Like again, I was educated and raised Catholic, went to Catholic youth organization. It was called CYO way back in the day. So I just kind of dated myself because they changed it like in the late 90s to some other acronym. So but yeah, that was where I got a lot of my education in religious theology, and like it was kind of, I don't know how else to put it. Like it was like a teacher on a chalkboard, and they would like try to imitate the teacher at school. And like they would tell us stuff like, we think we know we found where the Garden of Eden is, and we think it was somewhere between the Tigris and Euphrates River. And it's like, oh. And like me as a little kid that's just like a freaking like geography and just like nerd nut for that, I was just like, what? And then I'd go home and just start like reading that shit like crazy. But leave my nuts out of this, but thanks for calling them huge. Enough. Well played, T. Well played. I got to give you. I got nothing for that. I got nothing. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, we had some really mean priests, and then we had one really, really nice one. He was awesome, and then he's apparently so nice and awesome, they moved him right on up. So he runs, I think, he had a big old parish in like either Lincoln or Omaha maybe now. So good for him. But he's got to be like, shit, he's got to be getting up there anyways. So that's interesting anyways. But yeah, and then we had this mean old Monsignor show up, like so yeah, that was my,
I do want to kind of push back on
a little
this
bit
a
of
little
an
bit.
intro
I do
to me.
understand what you're saying about like you want to always encourage
My
people
dog
to
was
do
barking.
what you think is right, but you never want to tell anybody what to do. I'm again also in the camp of don't ever tell anybody what to do. My issue with encouraging people with what they should do is you have to assume that you know what they should be doing better than what they do, and you don't have the perspective of walking in their shoes and living their life. And while you can give advice and you can give your own perspective and you can share what your thoughts are, at the end of the day, they do need to make their own decision. And the reason that I bring this example up is because if I talk about the nice young lady who's working on getting her law degree and she's this close to the end and she's right there at the end and she's trying to blow off steam and she goes out and something terrible happens.
Wait. We got more. Amanda's giving a link to history.com, the Huguenots. That's my history. What's yours? So I'm actually part French. So apparently she's saying that I've got the Huguenots. That's okay. Sweet. I mean, I'm part French, so I'll take that. Actually, my last name apparently comes from the Champagne Valley of France. I'd like to think that we were grape farmers. I base that on nothing.
To her, and now there's something going on, and I can either finish my degree and go on to be a career and become a great attorney, or I can make this other choice. And I really wish there was a way that you could hit a pause button on the pregnancy and go, hey, can we wait like maybe 18 months to a year and then we can finish out this process? Man, if we could like extract an embryo and put it in a freezer and then re-input a thing. And again, I don't want to get too much into the cyborg stuff, but man, oh man, I do love technology.
Well, even being able to transport that in.
As much as I hate to say, he basically just described a fairly streamlined version of in vitro fertilization, which is very expensive. So I don't think that's like, I get what he's saying, but that's not quite what you're able to do yet.
Somebody
but we're close.
Unable to conceive the standard way that would want to finish that out. That would be amazing.
We are getting there. We are getting there. The technology for external wombs is coming. They are making an incredible progress in that area. I'm really, really hopeful for it.
I mean, at that point, it does kind of change the whole ethics when you get better medical technology, because let's say, just for the sake of argument, 50 years from now, we have the kind of medical technology where you can actually extract at any point of the pregnancy out of the uterus as simply as a blood draw.
and then put it somewhere else. It was like in the book All Tomorrows I did an audiobook reading for, people actually put these small fetuses into rockets and like shot them into different parts of the galaxy and used that as a way to actually seed the
Superman.
stars of humanity. And so like there's a lot of different ways that we could go with this. And so I think once you get to the point where, well, we can preserve the baby just almost immediately after conception, I think the ethics of it all changes radically.
Well, you would think so, but I've actually argued with pro-choice people that have said that it should still remain an option to abort the unborn child, even if there is the option of taking the child from the uterus and implanting them somewhere else.
So my great talent here on Twitch is the reframing game, and I've been having a lot of conversations with some people somewhere about overpopulation recently, and like how many people that the earth can support and everything. And once we get to the point where like we can make every single egg inside of every single human like actually turn into a living human, and we can like actually maximize the total human population to the point where like every human person is going to end up with like hundreds of children because we have the capability to maximize the total amount of life. At what point do we all starve to death because we don't have any food or whatever it is that's supposed to happen with the overpopulation thing?
And that's why you need to support Elon Musk making us an interplanetary species, and then we can just basically colonize the entire solar system, colonize the asteroid belt, and then you're going to have trillions of people. This is going to be the crazy part, colonizing the sun. 99% of everything in our solar system is there in the sun. All of the hydrogen gases, all of the metals that we need, it's all there. And we're going to need trillions of people to do it.
But it's a race between this technology and that technology. And I think that the maximize the total babies and save all of the babies technology will be here before the sun colony technology. And we're worried about resources and how much stuff we're going to have. And again, when we're talking about total population, and I understand that we've got a total population decrease that's currently happening, but from what I understood, I thought that this was a good thing because of like the fresh water shortages or whatever the heck everybody's talking about. Or is it that there's not enough land or food, or what's the thing that we're running out of that everybody is afraid that the overpopulation is going to happen? Why do we need more people?
This is the thing that a lot of people kind of get, like, the earth is not overpopulated. I want to say that again, and I want everybody within the sound of my voice to hear me. The earth is not overpopulated. It is very badly managed. That is the difference.
Communism now.
Well, no, the real big problem is, well, no, we need a CEO. We need a manager, unfortunately. So we need
like a Stalin guy.
Well, the problem is we have the biggest problem, and you'll like this because
I wasn't gonna sell that one. I gotta give somebody online that was a little funny. But I wasn't gonna sell that. Come on, Tony can even back up. Like, Tony, how often do I sell? Like, it's just, Amanda, implant baby, let's recycle instead of going sci-fi. Actually, let's educate instead of regulate. Would stop 90% of this conversation. Oh yeah, but I know I'm getting a little out there, but it was a part of an audiobook novel that I read where, like, literally babies that would have otherwise been like, not would have been aborted or otherwise, they quickly extracted them, put them onto these basically seeding ships where they're only maybe a few million cells big, not very big, and then they send them off to different parts of the galaxy, and that's what actually seeds the galaxy for humanity. And it's really a great book. It's a billion-year chronicle of the myriad species and mixed fortunes of man, because humans just evolve in all these crazy different ways. And but yeah, fascinating stuff. But also check out K.O.E Nation on YouTube. Come on now. I can tell you it isn't water. No, it isn't. It is food and agriculture. Yes, that's the problem. I get into why that is. He is suggesting technology that transfers a pregnancy that someone would actually want, exactly recycling. Which, yes, now, like you said, if you could like extract it and then put it back in later when I think that would be like mind-alteringly revolutionary for human reproductive cycles. Like, that would change everything. I agree, it is piss poorly managed. Yes. What is he suggesting? It literal recycling. I'm not sure. Seeds in the Galaxy. I've seen that movie. Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Well done.
Alesto, I am merely ladies over 21 want to educate myself on babies. Okay. Where do babies come from? Some people still think the earth is flat. So yeah, that's still a thing.
Enjoy this a little bit, but
A
we have
crazy
about
person, you can say it.
95% of the Earth's population is trying to live on about 3% of the Earth's landmass. LA, New York, Sydney, Tokyo, Hong Kong, Beijing, take your pick. And if you live in one of these cities, sure, the Earth looks real overpopulated. Come out to Nebraska, okay? There's fucking open fucking country in every
Phil, don't you
in
do
every
that.
direction.
Don't do
No,
that.
and again,
Don't
Phil,
do that.
You can't
Don't
do
invite
that.
people here.
I lived in Idaho for a while. That is one of the most sparsely populated places in the great United States of America, outside of Alaska, North Dakota, some other beautiful parts of the country where everybody should want to live. But anyway, the point is, the people there don't want anybody else to move there. They're very happy with the space that they have, and they're worried about their neighbors getting too close. And frankly, I don't think that there's enough room for anyone ever anywhere.
Well, actually, you could fit every human being if you gave them a quarter-acre lot into the island continent of Australia, and you'd still have half of Queensland left over. So it's just another instance of it's not overpopulation. We've got a really bad logistics issue, and our Earth overall is very badly managed by the likes of Biden. So like that.
Oh, had to get that one in there. Couldn't help it because that's just what I do. Bandit, Oklahoma, okay? Not Nebraska. Nice. Well, the boys in Oklahoma roll their joints all wrong. Way too skinny, way too long. As for me, son, well, I'll just hit a bong. 'Cause the boys in Oklahoma roll their joints all wrong. I don't know who sings that, but it's just something that folks in Nebraska always sing whenever Oklahoma comes up. Don't know what to tell you. Alesto, has anyone talked about the Japan university that removed a baby from a female after fertilization? The baby was born in an artificial. Really? That's legit? That's a thing? Man, we're gonna get some pretty crazy shit. Communism is only good in small communities. Change my mind. Some people even try to convince you that families are communism, and I think no, families are just a very workable charity structure because we're only all here because of somebody's charity. That's kind of what we've got at this point. It's not great, it's not perfect, but to me, I think whenever people talk about the earth is overpopulated, in all honesty, this is going to be kind of a controversial statement, but agriculture is not even at its full productive capacity. It could go to a next fucking level easily. And I really am of the opinion that the earth could really sustain about 12 billion people before we would need some significant technological advance to accommodate for it.
I don't necessarily agree 100% with Phil, but he's not wrong in a lot of regards. But it would be nice if we get to a point where we're not conceiving everybody that's just able to conceive, can conceive, just based off of the fact that they make mistakes. But how do you relegate that without the ugly word abortion? Like, we're not there yet. And I don't think
better forms of contraception. That's how we regulate it.
Exactly.
To me,
contraception that doesn't cause women to gain insane amounts of weight and absolutely lose their mind with hormone imbalances, and birth control options that are available for men, and sterilization options that don't leave women completely impaired and with irreversible side effects. That's what we need. We need better and more efficient forms of contraception.
I agree wholeheartedly, because I don't know that maximizing every potential conception is really the goal anywhere. I think it's just making sure that the people that want to conceive are able to conceive. If we're going towards technology in terms of children and birthing, we want to be able to make sure the people that want to conceive can conceive, and the people that don't want to, at the very least, can prevent that from happening, or, as we were alluding to earlier, transport that to somebody who absolutely does want to. Let's make sure that the quality of life is at least respected in that regard. People who want to have kids can have kids. There's so many people out there right now who would love nothing more, who are trying desperately to have children and cannot. Meanwhile, there are so many people who it's the last thing that they want and take plan B on the regular just because they don't care about wearing condoms or vasectomies or whatnot, because it's just not that important. They can go pop a pill and it's no big deal after that. And that's really the unfortunate thing in it.
All right, not to give away that I'm a lizard man too much or anything.
I knew it.
I mean, I'm really like into the different types of technologies and the things that we're coming out with at some point. I'm really into like future contraceptive techniques and things that we can do. I think that it's a really like terrible thing that like the fertility thing is on by default from the time that we're like, what, 12 or 13 or something when people enter puberty, until like when it's time that we decide that the body is like, nope, I don't want to do this anymore. And for some people, this happens like in their 30s. Like, again, we need to have like maybe off by default, and then when it's time, you go take the magic pill, and then all of a sudden, hey guys, it's my time of the month or whatever it is, you know?
Interesting idea. Like I said, when we get to a new world of medical technology, it's the whole world's going to shift. Alesto TV. Well, birth control pill for women is more than just pregnancy. That was the problem of medical community at the time birth control was made. Interesting. I was totally okay with them experimenting with male birth control pills. Interesting. Which I've heard a couple of things now. Weirdly enough, I can't remember what it's called, but there was this leaf in ancient Greece that, and again, the Lord gave it to us, but we unfortunately, as a species, harvested this plant into extinction. And they talked about it, and there was a whole economy based on the harvesting and the cultivation and the distribution of this leaf, where basically if a woman rubbed it inside of herself for the next 3 days, does not matter, she would not conceive. And it's like, of course, that's the plant that we have to fucking harvest into extinction, right? So goddamn. Phil, given the current turmoil behind Roe v. Wade and how chaotic things could get, whose wife do you want to? Yes, like, you know, there's wives are not safe around Phil K.O.E. I do not, Chicken. Sorry, I do not have gin. I do apologize. And Chicken, I do have to apologize as well. I've been reading some of these comments in it, and they were fire. Like when you're talking about if abortion was taxed, like that one is like, oh damn it, I should have read that one. Damn it, that was funny. Fuck. But Amanda, pop a pill and be done with it. If men could do that to prevent unwanted pregnancies, is that wrong? It's still killing a baby. It's in the man's hands. It's preventing a pregnancy as wrong as getting rid of one. Fuck. Do I have to take him some? What leaf? God damn it! I saw this on the History Channel, and it was a and then I looked it up on Google, and yeah, it was a legit thing. It was it started with a K. If you fucking held a gun to my head, I wouldn't be able to tell you any more than that. And it's probably gonna be like he looks at like, Phil, it started with an H. You're full of shit. But but yeah, it was a legit leaf where like if the woman rubbed it on her insides, she just would not conceive. And that's just like really fascinating. And again, God gave it to us, and of course it was harvested into extinction. And like, could you imagine how different the world would be if that was still around? Alesto. But yeah, that was the ancient Greeks. I'm curious, with genetic isotopes and research, I wonder if we could remake the plant with CRISPR or another way. God damn. Lesto, you beautiful bastard. I knew there was a like, thank you. I knew there was a reason that the stars all aligned to bring you here this evening. Rock you to sleep. What did Rogan say about Roe? I touched on it at the beginning, and it was a little bit more pro-life than I thought. When Doug Stanhope was on, because he just kind of got blindsided, Doug goes, oh, what, really? So we're getting rid of that here in Texas? Joe goes, no, apparently everywhere. And so he goes, so wait. And so Doug, he's a joke artist. So he tries, so let me ask you, Joe, what is your favorite memory as a fetus? and welcome everybody. And so Joe immediately comes back. Well, Doug, what's your favorite memory as a 3-year-old? I mean, shit, is that the line? You can't remember shit? I mean, hell, maybe. And so Joe kind of fired back with a little bit of but you got to remember, Joe's a father. Doug is a very ardent antinatalist. Tony G, popping a pill before the splooge? Nah, conception doesn't happen of its pure nut. They take pill. Oh man, Tony G, do it. Alesto, I would say preventing a pregnancy isn't killing a baby, but stopping a like, well, yeah, that's like saying a condom is. Like, we all kind of recognize that two things that haven't been put together yet is different than one thing. Like when people try to make the sperm is a life argument thing, which I've even heard Pisco try to say. It's like, dude, that's like saying this blue paint here, it's green paint. Sure, I haven't combined it with the yellow paint yet, but it's green paint. Like, no, clearly not. So that's my Lord, my life. In my boxers, I'm in my boxers. I'll get him some for next time he's not home and streaming. Oh my Lord. Silphium? Is that the name of the leaf, or I need more than that, man. Like, I knew I was gonna be wrong with that K thing. That is an age-long question. Well, aren't they all? Is there any way to change people's minds on this position? Yes. Pro-choice people having kids. That's one of the few things that I've seen that really seems to work at a high rate of regularity. Like if you're one of like those ardent pro-choice people and then you have a kid, I've seen that really shift a lot of people. It doesn't shift everybody, but it shifts a lot. And even if you're being honest with yourself, it does. The Hawkeye Gin from Iowa can be relocated. No. Yes, impregnate them. Tony G, but if you take contraception, that's in your hands. What if that person wanted your baby and was denied? It's entirely your decision and your control. You're going to deny a female the same right? That sounds like what happened with Drake. He would put the hot sauce in his used rubber and some chick tried to impregnate herself with it and start screaming. Like that's that. Please tell me that's a Babylon Bee story. Okay. Apparently, Bandit's telling me the name of the plant. I'm just going to go ahead and look that up or write that down. So thank you, Bandit. God damn, the K.O.E Nation is some of the most awesome people ever. Like, we're just some of the biggest brain motherfuckers that there ever were. Bandit, God bless you. Amanda L. Trip, if she just wants a baby, find a guy that also wants one. Easy solution. You know, the double coincidence of wants is always good in the free market. Tony G, if a guy wants a baby, go find a woman who wants one. That's, you know, I kind of feel like you two are saying the same thing, but in a slightly different way. Alesto, what? Oh, hey, man. You know, I'm still in the middle here. People kind of come and go. So, but yeah, it was Manny. Good man. Yeah, whatever. He was a very good man. Let me get back to this. But yeah, I kind of feel like you two are saying same thing in a slightly different way. Alesto TV. West, I would say if people want to have their minds changed, people should look into what goes into an abortion and when a baby can feel, think, and whatnot. Well, Lesto, like I say, like, and it actually got mentioned in this one, I kind of brought up my Schrodinger's life thing. And so it's like, we don't really know what that is. And it's kind of depends on your personal ethics. And it looks like the court's going to basically say the states decide. Of course, I get, what do you mean? You didn't get no censorship. Goodness. We try to stay as free speech here in the K.O.E Nation as possible without, so long as you're awesome and chill about stuff. That's really about it. Like, so long as you're awesome and chill about stuff, your comments probably going to come up. So like, yeah, like just keep that in mind. That's kind of my rules. Just be awesome and chill about stuff. Let's see. Told you, Amanda, if she doesn't and neither of them are smart enough to use condoms, then both should have to say in the conceived child's future. Interesting take there, T. Interesting take. Hang on one second.
And I should be able to get rid of it, like, whenever I don't want it anymore. Like, I have 2 kids, don't want it anymore. Not using the parts anymore. You want the parts? Take them. I don't want them. They're driving me crazy. Like,
I can appreciate that. Like, again, I don't think that we should be forcing people to suffer when they don't want to. It's almost like torture.
Oh, goodness. And that's why, folks, I want to use all that DNA to try and seed the stars with it. But also keep in mind, folks, if you've got a fairly high IQ and you're a smart person, maybe think about having a kid or two, because that's the thing that always really worries me about our species, is that the people that have low IQs breed like fucking rabbits. And then I was having a really fascinating conversation with somebody that we chat with all the time, T, I'm not going to say. And they're saying how they absolutely positively do not want any kind of children whatsoever. I'm like, dude, you're a smart guy. And I'm afraid that your brain is about to think your own DNA into extinction. Okay. And fuck you. Our species is dumb enough. We need more smart DNA floating around. So get out there and fucking do it already. And so, yeah, that's my, like, I think.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's just a fucking great take. I don't care what you say. But yeah, I just had to talk to pretty good, man. Let's see. Alesto, it seems every culture society has different plants. Egyptians had acacia gum. Romans had silphium. Okay. And I know I'm saying it wrong. Okay, if it was a Roman plant, I at least feel. Look at your mod logs. Okay. I'll look into it. Okay. Family man here taking. Okay. I'll look into that, man, because that I don't like that. But now it might not have come through on StreamYard then. Interesting. I just learned something today. People need to watch the movie Idiocracy. It's becoming into a reality and not a satirical movie. A little bit, but I to me, it's just President Camacho. That's the funniest fucking thing. Like, if you just removed the rest of the movie, just threw the rest of the movie away, President Camacho makes that whole movie because I liked and didn't like Idiocracy. There's times I really liked it, times I didn't, but President Camacho was one of the funniest fucking things I have seen in years. So that alone is like, yep, okay, all right, you brought me back. Amanda, Tony G, not unless you both go through 9 months of bodily distortion, tearing a hole a tiny size, and years of torment of where this child I have nothing to do with that has my DNA. Mentally, you're putting a toll on both parties that could be avoided. And that is why always keep some rubbers handy. Sorry. I mean, as the dude, you should try to do the effort to glove up. If you're single and you're mingling, glove up. Come on now. You can wear a condom. Now, I know it's going to be kind of hard. We had a hard enough time getting people to wear masks for the last 2 years, so I totally get it. And I was, hell, I'm not even saying what to do, but like, come on. Fuck you. That's a funny joke. That is well crafted right there. I don't even care like what side of the political sphere you fall. That is a fucking well crafted joke right there. I don't like, no, I will not be judged by any of you. I agree. President Loco, Doritos, Camacho, that just was too much. Depending on how you look at Trump as Camacho wrestling. No, because in 2024, your king of extreme is going to get elected, and that will be true. Like, you think you ain't seen nothing yet. I'm not saying I'm President Camacho. I'm going to be better. Wrap it before you tap it. That's pretty good advice.
At least until you get to know each other a little better and get to trust in each other a little better. And like we said, like most of the STDs in the country are getting like passed around by like this one dude named Cliff and this one chick named Sandy. And so long as you just avoid Cliff and Sandy, or anybody Cliff and Sandy have been with recently, you should be okay. So goddamn Cliff and Sandy. Alesto TV, does Amanda and Tony want to get a room for 30 minutes together? Seems like they have some tension that needs to work out. Oh, Alesto. Oh my God. So, Tony, Amanda, your thoughts. That's Alesto's question there. Does Amanda and Tony need? Oh, it seems like they have some tension. Tony G, Amanda Tripp, pregnancy is avoidable. This isn't rocket scientist, and giving birth isn't the living nightmare you're painting it as. Tony G, because you've been through it so many times. Well, I mean, he's been there. He's seen it quite a few times. I mean, at this point, like, good Lord. Like, how many kids you got, T? Like 12? No, I'm kidding. Not quite that many yet. Don't hump shits who can't cover it up or pull out. Pulling out doesn't always work. Trust me. Alesto TV, I actually agree. Wrap it before you tap it. That includes females. Yes, there's female condoms. Well, I just say like women carry a condom for men. Just have one on hand. Just like it's good courtesy. Just make sure everything's good and ready. Tony G, I still can't believe your wife went through with it after she saw my own vagina explode. She painted it soft as she said it wasn't a nightmare. Oh my God. Oh, Jesus Christ. I think you might have left a few too many details out there, Amanda. Holy shit. Oh, okay. All right, compose myself. Amanda L. Trips, I actually have. Like I was about to say, T's probably seen that once. I like stoking the fire. Yeah. Oh my God. This is next level. Tony, I'm sorry pregnancy gave you PTSD. Your experience is your experience, not the world's. Okay. All right. We are getting there. Well, there's female and male condoms. Yeah, but male condoms seem to have so long as you get the right brands, pretty good track record. Tony G, you witnessed this, not went through it. Did you throw a nurse to the ground during her giving birth? It's not the same. Gotta say, like, yeah, it can be pretty jarring. That's probably a pretty tame way to put jarring. I'm sure Amanda's like, oh yeah, jarring. A bit of a jar. It's quite a kerfuffle there. I'm sorry, but I'm still kind of recovering from the previous one. Sorry. Don't care, Phil. This is real world 1999 shit getting real. I get it, but like just the way like that was just some great dark poetry there. I don't know how else to put that. Like that was just like well composed. Oh my God. Amanda never said it was the same, but I was responsible for it. Luckily, I got to say it. I got to say in it. Yeah, it's definitely not the same, but goodness gracious.
Well, I'm just gonna leave that one there. How did you have the leverage to throw down a nurse? I don't know. I don't even know. Bandit, I like how you're like wondering the logistics and the technique here. Like, wait a minute, what leverage did you have here? Tony G gets more action than your Jimmy. Like Tony G, I've often joked to man, all these kids. It's you got enough coming you to shampoo Buffalo. It's an old Arn Anderson joke. Feed me, Seymour. Feed. That's an understatement, says Tony. Last I remember, people, Duramex is the best condom, and Duranex says no allergic condoms for the ladies that are allergic to latex. Nice. That's actually a real problem. There are some of them out there. And then you run the risk of, well, she says she's allergic to latex. How good is your pullout game? And so, and then also, yeah, so always make sure you have some. Duramex has the best in the world. Oh, they ain't bad. They ain't bad. Oh, God damn it. Fuck me running. Tony G and Amanda's back and forth here has been just like next level, folks. I don't even know what to fucking make of it. Bandit, and I'm the one figuring out logistics. Yeah, well, I mean, like, how did you get the like? I like how that's the question of everything. Tony G, you know that joke about the three gals in the bar bragging about how big a Jimmy they can take? Man in here bragging about being the gals sliding down the bar. Jesus. Oh God. Well, no, actually, fascinating statistic. They say that the average male penis is about 6 inches, which isn't actually true. When they did a real, because that studies from the 1950s from men who were self-reporting. So when they did the actual statistic, it turns out about 3.58 is actually the average across the whole human species. The average female vagina is can be on average up to about 9 inches deep. No woman ever goes, my vagina is deeper than 9 inches. Like every man will say their dick's bigger than the average, but no woman ever goes, no, I'm deep. Like it's kind of a weird like nobody ever goes that route, I've noticed, because every dude will say, my dick's so much bigger. But no chick goes, oh, 9 inches. Oh, mine goes way fucking deeper. Are you kidding me? Oof. Ouch. I feel like John Holmes. What? No, actually, there was a documentary that some buddies of mine at work years ago were telling me about. They were joking around about it because it was a comedian who wasn't packing much, and so they were talking about like what's the actual I was like, wait, 3 point, I thought it was 3.2. Come on now. Wait, what? Damn it. Like, yeah, we all of our grading curves got affected here, but no, it was kind of funny because the original study where we get the 6-inch average just kind of number that gets kicked around is, and so if you do actually have a 6-inch wang, hey, suddenly you just kind of went up the curve there. But no, it turns out it's about 3.58 is the actual average, but that original study was from men from the 1950s who were self-reporting. There was no actual there was no actual but no, it was 6 inches where we kind of got it from the 1950s.
My medical book says 4 to 5. Oh, I don't know how much time we want to dedicate to that, but yeah, it turns out that it's not quite what it was originally, because turns out when men self-report, and this is gonna come as a shock to you fellas, sometimes they lie. I know. Herbert lost his Timex last week. It came out and it was still. Didn't know Phil was gonna hype my dick up tonight, but here we are. You actually posted the comment. Oh my God. All right, everybody. Did you know? Screw it up. Remember, gentlemen, it doesn't matter about the size, but the motion ocean. Even the ladies would prefer a fun time and not a short time. Well, yeah, that's very, very key. Make sure that don't be too selfish. Take your time. 3 times for her minimum. That's just personal rule. It's more of a matter of pride than anything. Just for the general, just to raise the aggregate IQ of the species. If you're a smart person, quit being selfish. Get out there and make some babies. God damn it.
Sperm banks and egg donating, and sperm banks and egg donating.
However we can fucking get there. If we can raise the species IQ up a couple fucking points, I will take it. I'm really to me, that's I'm a farmer. Everything reverts back to the mean. When you look at a field, anything that's even slightly a little different, it will revert back to its sort of genetic mean, if you will. And so if you can raise that fucking DNA IQ of the whole species a little bit, we are all the wiser there. And Tony, what is this shit?
Chicken requested a gin shot and sent me the funds on the other.
You rotten, no good ne'er-do-wells. Well, give me full screen for just a second here.
All right.
Because I also got a question for the whole panel here, because it's a good one to kind of cap things off. But all right, I'm going to do this god-awful beef eater. God damn it. I hate gin. But needs must, and you, the big bucking empire, get what you want. And so I'm going to do the classic Gaelic Irish toast: the fighting, stealing, and drinking. If you're going to fight, may it be for a friend. If you're going to steal, may it be a lover's heart. And if you're going to drink, it better be with me.
Does it taste good, Phil? Is it good?
Yummy in my tummy. Fuck.
Is it delicious?
Fuck you. Who invented gin? I want to go piss on their grave. Oh my God, that is fucking awful.
Phil, that's not very nice.
Well, okay, but I'll make sure it's gin that I drank that day, so they'll consider it respectable. But oh my God, damn it. Why? And I do gotta say, somebody other than myself, you are one of the smartest dressed people on YouTube. I gotta say, and on Twitch, I gotta give it to you. Other than myself, obviously, because just 5-star looks every single day. But
yeah, I am missing my pocket square, but sir, you need to get your bow tie game back on point. This is essential, and frankly, to the rest of you folks, quit being so worried that people are going to make fun of you for looking like your grandfather.
Absolutely.
A good tweed will last you your entire life, and there's nothing wrong with that, friends.
And he was a distinguished motherfucker, so that grandfather here.
I do have to ask somebody, what is the cage behind you? One of the chat has been very vocal about what he's thinking the cage is, but I doubt that it doesn't look like it's that big. Yeah.
I'm an amateur ornithologist. I raise parrots, parrotlets, conures, and whatnot. This one belongs to 2 green-cheeked conures. I have a breeding parrots mating season at the moment, so they're not currently here. They're in the Love Shack, if you know where that's at.
It is a sex cage.
So, this is where they come back to when they're doing the resty nesty thing, so to speak. But yes, I have some very beautiful green-cheeked conures. Unfortunately, they're not here with me today. But again, if you come to my Twitch channel, somebody online on Twitch, they are visiting me very frequently. They sit here right on my desk when I'm doing my interviews with all the...
I don't get it, but yeah, I am really not a big fan of the gin. I don't get why people drink it. I don't get why people enjoy it.
I don't get, and I don't know how this became a thing on my show where people will make me take shots of gin just because I like, I don't know, like, I don't know how this became a thing, how this got here, but here we are. People are making me take hate shots of gin because they know I hate it so much. And like, I don't know how else to describe the internet so perfectly. But yeah, that's over a Big Bucket Empire. This is, but yeah, Big Bucket Empire, KOE Nation, fucking love it.
The interesting people that I talk to. KOE, I do look forward to our interview that we're going to have here, hopefully in a week or two.
Yes.
And you'll get to meet them then.
Yes. That will be, I very much look forward to it. And would that happen to be on the Somebody Online stream on Twitch?
On Twitch, twitch.tv, Somebody Online. That's my name. That's who I am. You can watch me there. I really appreciate it if you would.
Before we get into the shameless self-promotions and try to entice people to the post show, I got one last question I want to pose to you all, y'all, because this is where it's coming down. Okay? Do you think this is going to happen? When it comes down to nut cutting time, Supreme Court, it's the 11th hour. Do you think someone's going to flip? If you had to bet the house, if you had to bet a silver dollar, if you had to bet $100 charity bet, which way are you putting this to go down? And Kay, because you have been in this particular area and this was your point of entry to politics, really, I'm going to let you go first.
I really do. I think that in June, we are going to see the Supreme Court hand down the official ruling that they are overturning Roe v. Wade. I do think that they are going to pull out all the stops trying to get Kavanaugh to switch. And quite frankly, had they not absolutely massacred him and his family during his confirmation hearings, they might have had a snowball's chance in hell of actually getting him to flip and remain more moderate on this issue. But since they did what they did to him, I do not see him flipping. I do think that he's actually going to hold his ground on this issue because they're going to go back to the exact same tactics that they used last time, and he's going to remember how horribly he was treated and what they put his family through, what they put his children through. And I think that's going to be enough to just light the fire under his butt to keep him exactly where he is. And that in June, I'm hoping that I'm going to be in DC to see it. I think that in June we are going to get the official confirmation that Roe v. Wade is Roe's done.
Will you please try to do film as much as they will allow you to, and that shit will be fucking just like you have no idea. Like 50 years from now, people will look at that footage as this was the day it fucking happened. And so that is one thing I would recommend. Even if you can just sneak it under a coat or something, you got your phone going or something, fucking do it. Trust me, that is gonna, if you can make it there, history in the making. Now, Somebody Online, if you had to bet the parakeet, what would you say how is this going down? Yeah, I know I raised the stakes, didn't I?
I upset a lot of people on the left very frequently. And as you know, I don't like to state my opinion very frequently. I do think that this is probably going to go the way that everybody has heard that it's going to go. I don't necessarily know that it's going to be all as bad for the people on the left as they think, because there's nothing that encourages people to make dramatic change like dramatic actions. And I think that if you really want to make something federally illegal like abortion, you need a constitutional amendment. And again, I was talking about the political compass earlier, and I think I got 3/4 of the political compass, and I think that's how many I need for a constitutional amendment. So I think that we're probably going to see a constitutional amendment making abortion a human right within the next 25 years if we don't see some pretty dramatic medical advancements as far as the instant transmutation, teleport the baby from here to there come along.
Alesto, let me say this: justices should never be influenced by the mob. There is a reason they are supposed to be a neutral party. You're correct, but maybe that's why they did the leak, because they wanted it. We'll see. I don't know.
Quick. But again, I don't really know what's going to happen in the next 20 years. Is going to be really dangerous if we do need to wait for a constitutional amendment to happen, in my opinion.
Tony, if you had to bet the whiskey bottle, if you had to bet the Blanton's gold, which way are you going on this?
I would say, yeah, nobody's going to flip. I think it's all going to come tumbling down. And yeah, I think it's going to go that way. I think Roe's done, and that's it. But I don't think it's going to last very long, because I think the effort to at least replace it in some form or fashion is going to be so loud and prevalent that even when it gets to a state level, I think the pressure is going to be absolutely on. And again, yes, the midterms are going to happen. And if that goes the way we expect, sure, it's going to hold things up. But I'm not going to put a time frame on it, but it's going to change in some regard. And I think it's probably going to gear a lot more towards instances where assault is a big factor. And I think it's going to, and we could point to, oh, well, the mother could die in childbirth and instances like that. But really, what are the statistics in terms of? Because I honestly don't know. I know it's very low, that the statistics saying that the mother might die in childbirth, so we have to abort. I know those cases are a lot less prevalent than people would like you to believe on Twitter, but I think you're going to see assault being the big thing that really kind of twists it back after this all falls. Probably yes, this summer. So I do expect Roe v. Wade to go away, and I expect the front lines to be very loud for a very long time until they get their way, that something takes its place.
Well, allow me to, I'm going to try and tie this all together here, folks, because I'm fucking really good at this shit. But yes, feel free to give me any pushback or analysis on this, folks. But this is the way I kind of look at this. Kay, this is the moment for Republicans. If this doesn't happen for the pro-life folks, what was the fucking point of the last 50 years? We finally aligned all the stars, and if they're not even gonna fucking do what we've sent them to do for 50 years, what's the fucking point? And so this is the moment when they were, unfortunately, Tyberius had to go, and this also ties into something that somebody online was saying about how you have 3/4 of the political compass, and Tiberius talking about how there's just more numbers and more weight. This does really seem to be like 300, where the 300 Spartans are holding off the 10,000 Persians just due to their, and we will hold them off due to our superior justice appointing skills. And so basically they were able to get the court lined up just right to the point where we finally got here. And if it doesn't fucking go down, I'm going to be kind of shocked by this country at that point, because like, wow, all the stars aligned and the status quo still just got to march right along. What do you know? Because that's what the Supreme,
couldn't set it better myself. Oh wait, I did. Alesto, which I agree, remove RVW but make a better law if they want, but that's isn't the Supreme Court, that is the legislators' job. Project Sadface, how you doing? Goddamn, been a long time. Welcome back. I know I'm a devil. Well, I'm sharing this with not only K.O.E Nation on YouTube, but also K.O.E Nation on Twitch. I figured this amazing episode needed to be shared with the world. And so I thought, why not, kind of give a little replay as to what happened and let the K.O.E Nation really examine and see what they had to say about it. The project, been too long. God bless. Hope all is well in your neck of the woods with you and yours. Let's see. And there's the little clicky button.
Supreme Court always seems to find a way to justify the status quo. But when people are saying that there's all these people that say, oh, when Tiberius is talking about the moderates and how they're going to really swing on this issue, I don't know. Do you all remember the Trump effect in 2016 when people like, oh, yeah, I'm totally going to vote for Hillary. Yeah, totally. I would never vote for Trump. And then when they're alone in the voting booth, Trump. I think that's going to be kind of the same thing with these midterms. Like, oh God, oh yeah, abortion, totally, a woman's right to choose and all that stuff. But when they're alone in the voting booth, oh God, yeah, that's murder. Check. And so I think that's going to be a very, very big factor. But in the end, I think this is 40 years of Republican and conservative and pro-life advocacy finally coming to its zenith. And we're going to see it happen. Now, this is one of those instances where we're about to open this Pandora's box and see everything that's inside, with the good and the bad. And let's not pretend that it's gonna, like, regardless of what side you're on and regardless of where this lands, let's not pretend like it's going to be all fluffy roses going from here. These are going to be very hard questions. They're going to be very complicated questions. Let them be complicated. Such is life. And with that, I yield.
I think the biggest hurdle that we're facing in regards to whether this will last or how long it will last, it will really boil down to pro-life legislation. I mean, we just got this decision a few days ago, and what happened just yesterday, Louisiana introduced a bill to put women to death for seeking abortions in their state. Like, the way that supposed pro-life legislatures are going to respond to this is going to determine whether it lasts and how long it lasts. And like I said, thus far, they're not doing a super good job in their response so far. The reality is that pro-life politicians do not represent pro-life activism in any way, shape, or form. They are more a hindrance than a help in most cases. They are simply a means to an end whenever it is absolutely necessary to use them. And whenever it comes to reversing Roe and giving that power back to these legislatures, it's going to be incredibly important that pro-life activists get active in their state and hold their legislators accountable for everything that they're saying and doing in regards to legislating abortion in their state.
You're absolutely correct there, because Republican voters have to have a certain level of ambivalence when it comes to Republican politicians, because it's like Mitch McConnell's a great example of this. Like, it's almost like the Dumb and Dumber scene. Mitch, just when I thought you couldn't sell us conservatives down the line any further, just when I thought you couldn't compromise your conservative principles anymore, you go and do this and totally redeem yourself. Come here, man. We got Amy on the court. Oh my God. Yes. So, like, now somebody, is there something you'd like to add to this particular?
I mean, I am always in favor of smaller governments having more control, because I feel like that leads to more personal autonomy for me, because I have a lot more sway in my personal city council here, because I know all of my city council representatives and I know my mayor, and they're all my friends, and they'll do whatever I tell them to do, because I'm the boss around here, you see. And so I want you guys to let my city council make all of the decisions that pertain to me and my life and the things that I get to do, because then I can do whatever I want pretty much. But I do understand that the county needs to be involved, and then there is the state up above them who have to tell them what to do, and then the federal government on top of them, and then I guess there's like the Geneva Convention or the UN or something, and I don't know what's all above all of that BS. But
the Illuminati.
That don't talk about my brothers like that. God damn it, I told you. Now, again, I'm not sure necessarily how all of these organizations work and who should be in charge of which thing, but at the end of the day, there's a smart guy in charge of making all of the decisions and choosing who can do what and where they can do it all. And again, I really like the whole democracy thing. When we have the whole national government looking at it, should abortion be good? Should abortion be bad? There's a lot of people that are anti-abortion. There's a couple of people that are there's a lot of people that are pro-abortion. There's a couple of people that are extremely anti-abortion, but majority rules in democracy. And when we break it up into the states, now we've got some states that are anti, and we've got a lot of states that are pro, and it's a little bit and again, we're breaking it down to smaller and smaller levels. I think that the next step is we go down to a city by city thing, and we'll let each of the cities in Texas determine whether they want to have clinics, and then each of the rural counties can decide that they don't want to, and then we can look at it and go, wait a minute, none of you guys had any anyway. They were all in the cities where they wanted them in the first place.
That sounds very Canadian. Like, what
I am kind of a little bit, aren't I? Can't you tell by my mountains?
Hold on, I'm saying, like, in some of the big cities, like, Canadian mayors almost have like the same authority as like a governor of a really small state. Like, it's kind of funny to, so like, you're kind of like, so it sounds like there's some aspects of the Canadian system that appeal to you greatly, which is radical communitarianism. Perhaps?
Well, I always think that it's really interesting. Like, you commented on.
No, I'm sorry, but Alesto goes, sorry, Phil, but Mitch McConnell could go kick sand. He should be. Now, Alesto, did you not see that? Like, yes, this concerns like, God damn it, Mitch, how many times are you going to sell us down the fucking river? Okay, I guess we'll put up with you one more time. Yeah, that's how that works. That's Mitch McConnell. That's how we view Mitch. Not like, hooray. Like, but the thing is, if you're a Republican,
Yeah, he compromises a lot, but when it comes to the fucking important shit, he gets it. And so he can keep that thankless job for as long as he wants to, as far as I'm concerned. And if he does take back the Senate majority, I hope he steers this ship of state well, because if the Republicans take back the Senate, this is a whole different world we're going to live in. I dare not speculate what could come down the pike, but yeah, it's going to be a whole new world. Yes, I fucking
on it before. We're not just America. Well, or maybe it was Tony that commented on it, but we're not just America. We are the United States of America. And another word for state is country. So we're the United Countries of America. We're a bunch of little independent countries with our own little legislatures and heads of state, and they all get together and they all agree and they send their senators to the big group in the middle. And it kind of works similarly to the way that the EU works, where they've got a bunch of independent nations that all have their own little heads of states, and they all send representatives to the big government to go make their decisions. But over there, the national governments have more power. And then over here, the state governments give most of their power to the big collective style government. And so the EU versus the United States, man, these two are really similar things. And I think that we should be comparing England to the state of New York, and we should be comparing the United States to the organization of the EU, and big hegemonic multinational government organizations. I like the UN a lot. Can we all join the UN? I like triangles. Don't forget to vote for mayor. President Biden is the best president of all time.
God.
Gentlemen, I am unfortunately going to have to go. One of my kids is up. So it's been a pleasure talking with you guys.
Go ahead, chill yourself, and you can head out.
What was that, Tony?
Go ahead, chill yourself, and you can head on out.
Well, I don't really have much to promote, but I did just start a pro-life organization this past November, so you guys should absolutely all go follow it. And we're called PLEA. It's called Protecting Life Through Ethical Accountability, and you can find us on all the social medias at PLEA Justice. And you should also tune into the YouTube channel Modern Day Debate this Saturday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, where I'm going to be debating abortion with Richard Spencer.
Nice.
Shoot to be exciting. So with that, I will leave you guys to it. Have a good night.
Thank you so much for joining us, Kay.
Travel well. Nice. Well, that was quite interesting. But T, I think we are actually getting at about that time, aren't we, sir?
We are getting into the end, and I do have one story. I do want to end on a high note. Well, not a
first
high note,
before you
before
you do that, I just wanted to say to this comment here, Noob, good buddy that me and this amazing gentleman, somebody online talked to last night. He wants on this panel so bad. Well, guess what? Very soon, the post show is going to be here, and everybody is welcome. You can come to the post show, and the way to find that post show so you can interact with these amazing people and so many more people in the Big Buckin' Empire it's a simple link. I'm waiting for it to come along the bottom, but it is Linktree/Big Buckin', folks. That is where you can find us for the post show.
Here it comes. Follow us on all social media platforms in one easy place. Linktree/Big Buckin'. That is where you can find the link to the post show, all of our socials, all the YouTubes, all the Facebooks, the locals. And of course, the Andre the Giant event is on there as well. So yes, make sure you have Linktree/Big Buckin' bookmarked somewhere for all your Big Buckin' entertainment needs. But go ahead. Is there anything?
T, get into it.
Oh, I'm very sorry. I kind of zoned out there for a minute. I was reading my chat. By the way, I am live streaming. My name is Somebody Online. I am a Twitch streamer. I do politics. I do panels. We talk about very interesting subjects all the time. I actually have a panel coming up where we're going to be talking about the different ways that different types of democracies work in different governments around the world, in different states around the world, because no two governments are set up the same way, and none of these governments run their programs quite the same way. And I like talking about these sorts of things. I also want to talk about toxic masculinity in the next couple of weeks. And what the heck is toxic masculinity? Where does it come from? Is it a problem? Should we have it? Should we get rid of it? Where's it coming from? Who's doing it? Who should do it? Who shouldn't do it? What the heck is this thing? We're going to talk about this with so many different people. I love having people of every different perspective on my panels so that we can hear all of the different things and we can try to have a productive conversation where we can actually come up with a definition for some of these words that are so very hard to define. It's this concept of polysemy that I play with on my channel. The idea that a single word might have multiple definitions to multiple different people at the same time, and sometimes multiple different definitions to the same person all at once. But again, I don't want to drone on for too long here. My name is Somebody Online. You can find me on twitch.tv/somebodyonline. You can also find me on Twitter at somedummyonline, because I say some dumb stuff like that, like, hey, follow me on Twitch at Somebody Online. But by all means, go and do that. Throw me a follow if you're already there. Throw me a sub if you like that, because that's how I eat and feed the rest of my family and stuff. That's where my money comes from. Not that I'm begging for money or anything live on TV. I'm not even on TV. I'm on the internet. Give me your money. Anyway.
Yes, there we go. Come on. We're all capitalists here. Don't worry. This is a lot of Bush and Trump votes. You're not going to be judged. Don't worry about it.
Gentlemen, I really do appreciate you guys inviting me on the show tonight. It is very rare that I get to interlocute with gentlemen with such good hat choices, such good fashion sense, and frankly, such great opinions. You guys are very interesting folks. I may not agree with you guys on 100% of everything, but I do like the way that you guys say the things that you think. And I like the fact that you guys are saying them out here. Again, thank you for inviting me, even though I might not agree with everything you say, but let me say it.
Hey.
Absolutely.
Well,
we do not believe in censorship around here at all. We want everybody to be able to voice their opinion. We want to hear a differing opinion, because that's really the only way anybody can actually grow and learn and think outside of the box, not by silencing people who have something that might not align with their own. Got to hear everybody's opinion. Love it. We have absolutely appreciated you being on. Loved hearing everything you had to say. Really good stuff. And without further ado, if anybody missed it, the Linktree/Big Buckin link, that is for the post show. You can find that. It will say post show plus 18. Click on that. You will come into the post show. Now, hang on, Tony. Your Discord link is broken. All right, Phil, ramble while I investigate that.
Well, folks, as I'm known to say around here, all that being said, thank you for joining us here at episode 137, Roe v. Depp, here at Big Buckin Empire, folks. This has been a dive into some of the most pressing issues of our time, and you did it right here, Big Buckin Empire, folks. And we've had a crazy cast of characters throughout this crazy evening right here at Big Buckin Empire on YouTube, Big Buckin Empire on Facebook, Big Buckin Entertainment on Twitch, folks. And folks, the crazy cast of characters to talk about Roe v. Wade. This is going to be something you tell your grandchildren about. We had somebody online here to give his amazing takes and his amazing analysis and to introduce himself to the Big Buckin Empire. We had Tyberius D swing by to give his hot takes, and then he had to get out because, much like me, he's a farmer planting seeds, folks. He's got to get to it. And then we had KayFellowz. Follow her, KayFellowz, on Twitter, to really give some interesting insight into years and years of activism into this particular topic. And folks, also the devilishly handsome outlaw himself, your king of extreme, Phil K.O.E. of K.O.E. Nation on YouTube, K.O.E. Nation on TikTok, K.O.E. Nation on Twitch. That's K as in king, O as in oh my God. You can find K.O.E. Nation on YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch. E as in extremely happy to know you can find KOE Nation on YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch. The devilishly handsome outlaw, the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man that makes the other podcast cower, the prince and potentate of the political parlance, the lord of the Scottish Highlands, the conqueror of the ethereal, the Tom Brady, Muhammad Ali, and Michael Jordan of podcasting himself, Phil K.O.E., folks. I hope every last one of you makes it back to Big Buckin Empire. Happy, healthy, much the wiser. Raise a glass to yourselves. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us. God bless every last one of you, and may you travel well. Tony? Somebody online, take it away.
So I think I've got the StreamYard link fixed. I don't know why it wasn't working. Chicken said the Discord link is working now as well. So yes, the post show on the link tree and the Discord should be working now. I will just be real quick with my final shill. Again, May 20th, the third annual Andre the Giant fundraiser and beer challenge. Be there for that Friday, May 20th. Do not miss it. Go to the event on Facebook. Hit interested. Hit the reminder. Please be beg of thee. And this Sunday, Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast. We got a crappy WWE pay-per-view coming up. So if that's your thing, check it out. Now, Phil, before we do go to the post show, it was requested. Sorry, you got to do a shot because I got to chug another beer.
God damn it. What?
I'm going to take that opportunity to get out of here. Gentlemen, thank you again so much for allowing me to be here. I look forward to talking with you guys at the post show, and I really look forward to the next time I get to come on and have another interesting conversation about some other difficult subjects. Thank you guys again. You've been fantastic.
I think
Thank you very much, somebody.
The Big Bucket Empire when I say you're welcome anytime, good sir.
Absolutely.
Thank you, gentlemen. Fantastic.
God damn it.
All right, let's go ahead and do this right.
God damn it.
Cheers, Phil.
Clink.
Woo! All right, everybody.
You got your whole beer down.
Yes, I did. And yes, Skinner West on the TikTok. He got it in. All right, folks. We will see you on the post show if you do so choose to join us. You don't have to be on camera, but you can watch along either way. Now, folks, this was a difficult topic tonight, but we got through. We had a really great conversation. Glad everybody was able to join us. Thanks to somebody online. Thanks to KayFellowz, and thanks to Tyberius, as well as thank you, Phil K.O.E. As always, and I am Tony fucking G. Like, share, subscribe. Make sure to like the YouTube channel, the Big Bucket Empire, and the Facebook page. It's the right thing to do. We will see you next week.
And see if it just smooths itself out.
Tell you what I'll do if I ever get back. I promise to refabricate you, raging rivers of gold. That's what the brochure advertised. And now we're lost. We gotta take it down. Let you down slow. It's hard to survive.
Yes, you got a K.O.E. Nation duet there, folks. I think that was well worth it. So, folks, that was quite the interesting show, wasn't it? And yeah, we went through a very wide array of topics, all different types of ideas inside of life. What is life? How do you define life? Where do you find life? It's quite something. But folks, this has been quite an evening with all of you. Now, if you're still here, folks, please subscribe to K.O.E. Nation on YouTube. It'd really mean a lot to me. Get just one more for the evening's done. I think one of you can do it. I think you can pull it off. I think we can make it happen. But also, maybe another follow on Twitch. I feel it. I actually do. I can feel it. Oh, thank you. You beautiful, beautiful person out there. But folks, as I'm known to say around here, all that being said, thank you for joining us here at K.O.E. Nation for this very important show, this very, very deep dive topic. But folks, I'm a farmer. It's got to get back to work tomorrow. So I am going to leave you with this week's poem of the week, another listener written poem by Mario Vitale. And it's really something, folks. So thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us. I hope every last one of you makes it back here to the K.O.E. Nation happy, healthy, much the wiser. And you know what? Can't wait to find you back here. God bless. And every last one of you. Travel well. How we doing, all y'all? It's time for another poem of the week. As you can see, it's planting season out here on the farm. Hair's going nuts. I don't even care. It's time for another poem of the week. This time by, once again, the great Mario Vitale. This one, I don't know what the title is, so we're going to go with untitled, but this is one he sent to me, and I said, I'm reading this one. Every day is a gift from God. We each go through things, yet another doorbell rings. Learning to be in the moment, living by faith. Mario. Thank you, sir, for this amazing poem of the week, folks. It's another glorious day in this crazy adventure we call life. And I'm going to go with it through all y'all, and I can't wait to be here for the next poem of the week. There's a poem you'd like me to read. If you'd like me to read your poem, please just send it in any way you can. God bless. Travel well.
Here and see if it just smooths itself out.
Tell you what I'll do if I ever get back. I promise to refabricate you, raging rivers of gold. That's what the brochure advertised. And now we're lost, we gotta take it down. Let you down slow, it's hard to survive.